Okay, let's do this. What's up, everybody? Oh, God. Walls is already there. Oh, God. We can already see them on stage. Jesus Christ. All right, let's bring up the overlay. Let's do this. Let's see what's up. Oh, wait. I got to send the link here. So hold on a second. Let me get the copy invite link here. We're listening to these fucking people. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about these people right now. Shit. How do I send it? Shit. Hold on, guys. Let me just set this over here. Let's see here. Excuse me a second, guys. Just logging in. Hold on, I gotta log in by this. Gotta log in to Telegram. Yeah, I'm sorry to see the TikTok account was deleted too. But them's the breaks, guys. I'm used to it by now. So wait, I gotta go settings, devices, link desktop device, scan the QR code, link desktop device. What the fuck is going on here? There we go. It's in. Okay, cool. Allow. Okay, let me see here. Let me paste this. All right, we got one there. There we go. Okay, we're good. So we got the debate coming up. What do we got? We have this election cycle with Trump takes the White House to allow you to have a TikTok. That would be nice, huh? Audio sounding great. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. I mean, it's better than it sounding bad, right? All right. So we got, hold on, let's see here. So we got, did the backup get banned on TikTok too? Yes, as well. Everything got banned. They just said fucked. They just said fuck everything about it. But here's the thing. We found out that I did not get banned because of violations. I got banned because somebody in the Tampa office decided they were going to just cancel my account. So we already know that. So we already know that it was somebody in the Tampa office decided they were just going to end my fucking account. And then end all my other accounts. So we know, okay, hold on, wait. Let me bring this up here. Screen share. Share that. Oh God, who are these people? All right, so hold on.
A thoughtful and civil debate. These are the
Really? Now you want to load? Now you want to have a problem with the Wi-Fi? What is going on here? Hello? Oh my God, don't tell me. Now, it just wanted to freeze while I shared it. There we go.
rebuttal. Then each candidate will get another
All right.
minute to make further points, with an additional 1 minute each at the
All right,
discretion of the
let's
moderator.
move
The
this down a little
primary
bit.
role of the moderators is to facilitate the debate between the candidates, enforce the rules,
What's up,
and
Ileana?
provide the candidates with the opportunity
They
to
left up all
fact
the
check
fake accounts.
claims
Exactly.
made by
The
each other.
200 fake fucking
CBS
accounts.
News
They
reserves
left
the
all of
right
them
to
up.
mute the candidates' microphones to maintain decorum. We have not shared the questions or topics with the
Shut up.
campaigns. The stage
Shut up. Jesus Christ, I don't want to hear them. All right, are we
for
there?
joining us. Let's get started. Tonight, our country is facing several unfolding crises. The Middle East is on the brink of war. Americans are suffering from the catastrophic impact of Hurricane Helene. And now a labor strike as 25,000 dock workers from Maine to Texas are picketing. We're going to begin tonight with the Middle East. Margaret.
Thank you, Nora.
Oh, they're at the debate.
Earlier today, Iran launched its largest attack yet on Israel, but that attack failed, thanks to joint U.S. and Israeli defensive action. President Biden has deployed more than 40,000 U.S. military personnel and assets to that region over the past year to try to prevent a regional war. Iran is weakened, But the U.S. still considers it the largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world, and it has drastically reduced the time it would take to develop a nuclear weapon. It is down now to 1 or 2 weeks' time. Governor Walz, if you were the final voice in the Situation Room,
what are you writing?
Would you support or oppose a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran? You have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you, and thank you for those joining at home tonight. Let's keep in mind where this started. October 7th, Hamas terrorists massacred over 1,400 Israelis and took prisoners. Israel's ability to be able to defend itself is absolutely fundamental. Getting its hostages back, fundamental, and ending the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
Wouldn't that be nice?
But the expansion of Israel and its proxies is an absolute fundamental necessity for the United States to have the steady leadership there. You saw it experienced today, where along with our Israeli partners and our coalition, able to stop the incoming attack. But what's fundamental here is that steady leadership is going to matter. It's clear, and the world saw it on that debate stage a few weeks ago, a nearly 80-year-old Donald Trump talking about crowd sizes is not.
Is he really going to go into the age thing? Is he really going into the fucking age thing? Really? Really? Like, you guys were trying to run an 82-year-old who has fucking dementia. We are not playing that fucking game.
What we need in this moment. But it's not just that. It's those that were closest to Donald Trump that understand how dangerous he is when the world is this dangerous. His chief of staff, John Kelly, said that he was the most flawed human being he'd ever met. And both of his secretaries.
And his response is about Trump. Not about what he would do, not about what Kamala would do, but about Trump. You see that, right? Like, all he's talking about is fucking Trump.
Of defense and his national security advisors said he should be nowhere near the White House. Now, the person closest to them, Donald Trump, said he's unfit for the highest office. That was Senator Vance. What we've seen out of Vice President Harris is we've seen steady leadership. We've seen a calmness that is able to draw on the coalitions to bring them together, understanding that our allies matter. When our allies see Donald Trump turn towards Vladimir Putin, turn towards...
what the fuck does Putin have to do with this? Like, what the fuck does Vladimir Putin have to do with what's going on in Israel?
North Korea, when we start to see that type of fickleness around holding the coalitions together, we will stay committed. And as the vice president said today we will protect our forces and our...
As the vice president said today just want to fucking remember that sentence.
Allied forces, and there will be consequences.
Governor, your time is up. Senator Vance, the same question. Would you support or oppose a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran? You have 2 minutes.
I hope he just says bomb the fuck out of them.
So, Margaret, I want to answer the question. First of all, thanks, Governor. Thanks to CBS for hosting the debate. And thanks, most importantly, to the American people who are watching this evening and caring enough about this country to pay attention to this vice presidential debate. I want to answer the question, but I want to actually give an introduction to myself a little bit, because I recognize a lot of Americans don't know who either one of us are. I was raised in a working class family. My mother...
That was bad. Don't fucking do that.
Required food assistance for periods of her life. My grandmother required Social Security help to raise me, and she raised me in part because my own mother struggled with addiction for a big chunk of my early life. I went to college on the GI Bill after I enlisted in the Marine Corps and served in Iraq. And so I stand here asking to be your vice president with extraordinary gratitude for this country, for the American dream that made it possible for me to live my dreams. And most importantly, I know that a lot of you are worried about the chaos in the world and the feeling that the American dream is unattainable.
Okay, Jay. So Tim Walz didn't answer the question, but and it was a shit answer. But Jesus fucking Christ, JD, this is why I didn't want you as the fucking VP. Because what the fuck are you talking about? They didn't ask you about where you came from. They didn't ask you about your fucking history. They didn't ask you about your mother's addiction. They asked you about fucking Israel and Iran. The fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, God, this is why I didn't want fucking JD Vance as the VP. Really, ABC? I mean, really, CBS? What the fuck? What is going on here? What is going on? Jesus fucking Christ. It's like, this is what you get with CBS. Jesus Christ.
For this country, for the American dream that made it possible for me to live my dreams. And most importantly, I know that a lot of you are worried about the chaos in the world and the feeling that the American dream is unattainable. I want to try to convince you tonight over the next 90 minutes that if we get better leadership in the White House, if we get Donald Trump back in the White House, the American dream is going to be attainable once again. Now, to answer this particular question, we have to remember that as much as Governor Walz just accused Donald Trump of being an agent of chaos, Donald Trump actually delivered stability in the world, and he did it by establishing effective deterrence. People were afraid of stepping out of line.
Yes.
Iran, which launched this attack, has
with,
received over
dumbass.
$100 billion in unfrozen assets thanks to the Kamala Harris administration. What do they use that money for? They use it to buy weapons that they're now launching against our allies, and God forbid, potentially launching against the United States as well. Donald Trump recognized that for people to fear the United States, you needed peace through strength. They needed to recognize that if they got out of line, the United States global leadership would put stability and peace back in the world. Now, you asked about a preemptive strike, Margaret, and I want to answer the question. Look, it is up to Israel what they think they need to do to keep their country safe, and we should support our allies wherever they are when they're fighting the bad guys. I think that's the right approach to take with the Israel question.
See, why not just start with that? Why not just come out and say what Israel decides is best for their safety? That's what we want them to do. Like, that's the way to answer the question. This whole, I grew up in a middle-class family and my mother was addicted to drugs. Like, who gives a shit, JD? Answer the fucking question. I swear to God, if he does this all night, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
Thank you, Senator. Governor Walz, do you care to respond to any of the allegations?
Well, look, Donald Trump was in office. We'll sometimes hear a revisionist history, but when Donald Trump was in office, it was Donald Trump who we had a coalition of nations that had boxed Iran's nuclear program in, the
That's, yeah, under Trump.
inability to advance it. Donald Trump pulled that program and put
No, Donald Trump pulled funding, which kept giving money to Iran for being in that program.
nothing else in its place. So Iran is closer to a nuclear weapon than they were before because of Donald Trump's fickle leadership. And when
I love that you have two leaders. You have Obama and you have Biden, both who gave money to Iran that they devoted to their nuclear program, and somehow Trump is to blame.
Iran shot down an American aircraft in international airspace, Donald Trump tweeted, because that's the standard diplomacy of Donald Trump.
And what has Kamala done? Like, really, like, we should count the amount of times we hear the word Trump, because it is an aggressive amount. Like, is anybody keeping track of the amount of times we hear the word Trump from fucking Walz? Like, Jesus Christ. Oh my God, CBS. What the fuck? What is with CBS's stream? All right, hold on. We gotta see. Hold on. We gotta go to somebody else's fucking stream, because I can't deal with CBS not being able to keep up. Like, this is bad. Like, let's go to NBC. All right, there we go. We're gonna go to NBC, because fucking CBS is fucking awful. Like, they can't. Everything is buffering, so I can't use. I'm not gonna do this all night. All right, here we go. We'll go to fucking NBC.
Program in, the inability to advance it. Donald Trump pulled that program and put nothing else in its place. So Iran is closer to a nuclear weapon than they were before because of Donald Trump's fickle leadership. And when Iran shot down an American aircraft in international airspace, Donald Trump tweeted, because that's the standard diplomacy of Donald Trump. And when Iranian missiles did fall near U.S. troops and they received traumatic brain injuries, Donald Trump wrote it off as headaches. Look, our allies understand.
No, what Donald Trump didn't do, what Donald Trump did was not start a war with Ukraine. I mean, not start a war with Iran over their ability to not be able to land their fucking missiles where they wanted.
Banned. That Donald Trump is fickle. He will go to whoever has the most flattery or where it makes sense to him. Steady leadership like you witnessed today, like you witnessed in April. Both Iranian attacks were repelled. Our coalition is strong, and we need the steady leadership that Kamala Harris is providing.
Senator Vance, the U.S. did have a diplomatic deal with Iran to temporarily pause parts of its nuclear program, and President Trump did exit that deal. He recently said, just 5 days ago, the U.S. must now make a diplomatic deal with Iran because the consequences are impossible. Did he make a mistake? You have 1 minute.
Well, first of all, Margaret, diplomacy is not a dirty word, but I think that's something that Governor Walz just said is quite extraordinary. You yourself just said Iran is as close to a nuclear weapon today as they have ever been. And Governor Walz, you blame Donald Trump, who has been the vice president for the last 3.5 years. And the answer is your running mate, not mine. Donald Trump consistently made the world more secure. Now, we talk about the sequence of events that led us to where we are right now, and you can't ignore October the 7th, which I appreciate Governor Walz bringing up. But when did Iran and Hamas and their proxies attack Israel? It was during the administration of Kamala Harris. So Governor Walz can criticize Donald Trump's tweets, but effective, smart diplomacy and peace through strength is how you bring stability back to a very broken world. Donald Trump has already done it once before. Ask yourself at home, when was the last time, I'm 40 years old, when was the last time that an American president didn't have a major conflict break out? The only answer is during the 4 years that Donald Trump was president.
Gentlemen, we have a lot to get to. Nora?
Margaret, thank you. Let's turn now to Hurricane Helene.
Yeah,
the storm could become
one
of the deadliest on record. More than 160 people are dead and hundreds more are missing. Scientists say climate change makes these hurricanes larger, stronger, and more deadly because of the history.
Wait a second. Are they really taking the hurricane situation, which Kamala Harris and Joe Biden haven't responded to, and they're putting it on climate change? They're not talking about how fucking Kamala Harris and Joe Biden aren't helping. Now we're going to discuss climate change because of this fucking hurricane. Are you serious right now?
Historic rainfall. Senator Vance, according to CBS News polling, 7 in 10 Americans and more than 60% of Republicans under the age of 45 favor the U.S. taking steps to try and reduce climate change. Senator, what...
You see, they just made that as a statement of fact. They were just like, look, this hurricane is the fault of climate change. We're not going to let you discuss that. We're just going to discuss whether or not you have a problem with climate change. That's what we're going to make this topic about. We're just going to state that as fact, that this is the most, like, let me tell y'all right now, I live in Florida. This is the most mild fucking hurricane season we've ever had. Like, they talk, hurricanes are getting worse. Bro, I live in Florida. We haven't had hurricanes. This has been an extremely mild hurricane season. We had one. Like, this is the first one, and we're at the tail end of the hurricane season. And now we're trying to act like hurricane season is so awful now because of climate change. I live in Florida. I experience hurricane season every fucking year. This is the mildest hurricane season we've ever had.
Responsibility would the Trump administration have to try and reduce the impact of climate change? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Sure. So first of all, let's start with the hurricane, because it's an unbelievable, unspeakable human tragedy. I just saw today, actually, a photograph of 2 grandparents on a roof with a 6-year-old child, and it was the last photograph ever taken of them because the roof collapsed and those innocent people lost their lives. And I'm sure Governor Walz joins me in saying our hearts go out to those innocent people, our prayers go out to them, and we want as robust and aggressive as a federal response as we can get to save as many lives as possible, and then, of course, afterwards, to help the people in those communities rebuild. I mean, these are communities that I love. Some of them I know very personally in Appalachia, all across the Southeast. They need their government to do their job. And I commit that when Donald Trump is president again, the government will put the citizens of this country first when they suffer from disaster.
Gary.
Now, Nora, you asked about climate change. I think it's this is a very important issue. Look, a lot of people are justifiably worried about all these crazy weather patterns. I think it's important for us, first of all, to say Donald Trump and I support clean air, clean water. We want the environment to be cleaner and safer. But one of the things that I've noticed some of our Democratic friends talking a lot about is a concern about carbon emissions, this idea that carbon emissions drives all of the climate change. Well, let's just say that's true, just for the sake of argument, so we're not arguing about weird science. Let's just say that's true. Well, if you believe that, what would you want to do? The answer is that you'd want to reshore as much American manufacturing as possible, and you'd want to produce as much energy as possible in the United States of America, because we're the cleanest economy in the entire world. What have Kamala Harris's policies actually led to? More energy production in China, more manufacturing overseas, more doing business in some of the dirtiest parts of the entire world. And when I say that, I mean the amount of carbon emissions they're doing per unit of economic output. So if we actually care about getting cleaner air and cleaner water, the best thing to do is to double down and invest in American workers and the American people. And unfortunately, Kamala Harris has done exactly the opposite.
Governor Walz, you have 2 minutes to respond.
Well, we got close to an agreement because all those things are happening. Look, first of all, it is a horrific tragedy with this hurricane, and my heart goes out to the folks that are down there in contact with the governors. I serve as co-chair of the Council of Governors as we work together on these emergency managements. Governors know no partisanship. They work together to solve the governors and the emergency responders on the ground. Those happen on the front end. The federal government comes in, makes sure they're there to that we recover, but we're still in that phase where we need to make sure that they're staying there, staying focused. Now, look, coming back to the climate change issue, there's no doubt this thing roared onto the scene faster and stronger than anything we've seen.
That's not true. That's not true. Guys, let me tell you, as somebody who lives in an area that was dealing with the hurricane, this did not roar onto the scene faster and more aggressive than anything we've ever seen. We knew this was coming. Let me tell you that we saw the hurricane coming in. We weren't even going to leave. We live in Tampa. We weren't even going to leave. Now, it was her birthday, my fiance's birthday. So we went to, what is it? Howl-O-Scream, whatever the fuck it is at Universal, Howl-O-Scream or whatever it is. We went there for her birthday, right? And the hurricane passed us by. And we haven't had a hurricane yet. But we had like 5 days of warning before it came. This didn't roar onto the scene. We saw this hurricane coming. This is just a normal hurricane. It was a Category 3, and it was a Category 4 when it got to the coast. This was nothing crazy. This was just another hurricane. Oh, I'm getting so tired of these fucking.
Make more beachfront property to be able to invest in. What we've seen out of the Harris administration now, the Biden-Harris administration, is we've seen this investment. We've seen massive investments, the biggest
Vash.
Global history that we've seen in the Inflation Reduction Act has created jobs all across the country. 2,000 in Jeffersonville, Ohio, taking the EV technology that we invented and making it here. 200,000 jobs across the country. The largest solar manufacturing plant in North America sits in Minnesota. But my farmers know climate change is real. They've seen 500-year big, beautiful wall, and Mexico will pay for it. Less than 2% of that wall got built, and Mexico didn't pay a dime.
Why did less than 2% of the wall get built? Why? Why didn't it get built? Because you motherfuckers fought against it. It would have been built. It was like he wanted to build it. You didn't let him fucking build it.
But here we are again, 9 years after he came down that escalator, dehumanizing people and telling them what he was going to do. As far as the deportation plan, at one point, Senator Vance said it was so unworkable to be laughable. So that's where we're at. Pass the bill, she'll sign it.
Governor, your time is up. Senator, the question was, will you separate parents from their children, even if their kids are U.S. citizens? You have 1 minute.
Margaret, my point is that we already have massive child separations thanks to Kamala Harris's open border. And I didn't accuse Kamala Harris of inviting drug mules. I said that she enabled the Mexican drug cartels to operate freely in this country. And we know that they use children as drug mules. And it It is a disgrace, and it has to stop.
Hold on,
Look,
guys.
I think what Tim
Sorry.
said just doesn't pass.
Everything keeps freezing. Everything keeps freezing. I don't know what's up with these streams.
Kamala Harris went out bragging that she was going to undo Donald Trump's border policy. She did exactly that. We had a record number of illegal crossings. We had a record number of fentanyl coming into our country. And now that she's running for president, or a few months before, she says that somehow she got religion and cared a lot about a piece of legislation.
Funny how that works.
The only thing that she did when she became the vice president, when she became the appointed border czar, was to undo 94 Donald Trump executive actions that opened the border. This problem is—
That's what fucked immigration. 94 executive orders
is leading to massive problems in the United States of America. Parents who can't afford health care, schools that are overwhelmed. It's got to stop, and it will when Donald Trump is president
Senator,
again.
your time is up. Governor, what about our CBS News polling, which does show that a majority of Americans, more than 50%, support mass deportations?
Look, we fix this issue with a bill that is necessary, but the issue on this is what happens when you don't want to solve it. You
What's the bill that's necessary?
demonize it. And we saw this. And Senator Vance, and it surprises me on this, talking about and saying, I will create stories to bring attention to this. That vilified a large number of people who were here legally in the community of Springfield.
No, it didn't.
The Republican government.
Hold on, wait. What he's talking about is he's talking about the Haitians. That's what he's about to talk about. He's about to talk about the Haitians. They were here legally under Kamala Harris's horrible fucking program that brought them here.
Governor said, it's not true. Don't do it. There's consequences for this. There's consequences. We could come together. Senator Langford did it. We could come together and solve this if we didn't let Donald Trump continue to make it an issue. And the consequences in Springfield were the governor had to send state law enforcement to escort kindergartners to school. I believe Senator Vance wants to solve this, but by standing with Donald Trump and not working together to find a solution, it becomes a talking point. And when it becomes a talking point like this, we dehumanize and villainize other human beings.
Tim,
Governor, your time is up. Senator, I'll give you 1 minute, but let me just ask you the
No,
question
let him
first.
respond.
The governor has
No, let
made
him
the point,
respond. Shut
and
the
I think
fuck up.
as a sitting lawmaker, you know that Congress controls the purse.
See what she did? He was prepared to fucking wreck him. He already was like loaded. Like, as soon as you get done talking, I'm fucking you up. And she was like, whoa, 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 hold on. Let me confuse this with an additional question. Instead of, because here's the thing, when JD talked, Walz just got to respond to what he said. Now, when Walz talks and JD wants to respond, she has to add in another fucking question.
Strings and any funding. So you have said repeatedly that Donald Trump would, through executive action, solve this. Do you disagree that Congress controls the purse strings and would need to support many of the changes that you would actually want to implement?
See, I hope he just says, I'm going to ignore your stupid fucking question and I'm going to shit on my opponent right now. That's what he should say. He should say, it's nice that you gave him a buffer between the stupid shit he said and between me shitting on him, but I'm going to ignore what the fuck you said and I'm going to shit on him. That's what he should say. That's what Vivek would say.
1 minute.
Look, Margaret, first of all, the gross majority of what we need to do at the southern border is just empowering law enforcement to do their job. I've been to the southern border more than our border czar, Kamala Harris, has been, and it's actually heartbreaking because the Border Patrol agents, they just want to be empowered to do their job. Of course, additional resources would help, but most of this is about the president and the vice president empowering our law enforcement to say, if you try to come across the border illegally, you've got to stay in Mexico, you've got to go back through proper channels. Now, Governor Walz brought up the community of Springfield, and he's very worried about the things that I've said in Springfield. Look, in Springfield, Ohio, and in communities all across this country, you've got schools that are overwhelmed. You've got hospitals that are overwhelmed. You've got housing that is totally unaffordable because we brought in millions of illegal immigrants.
What the fuck is he writing down? Like, he's writing right now. What the fuck could he possibly be writing down? What are you scribbling down?
immigrants to compete with Americans for scarce homes. The people that I'm most worried about in Springfield, Ohio, are the American citizens who have had their lives destroyed by Kamala Harris's open border. It is a disgrace, Tim. And I actually think, I agree with you. I think you want to solve this problem, but I don't think that Kamala Harris does.
Senator, your time is up. Governor, you have 1 minute to respond.
Yeah, well, it is law enforcement that asked for the bill.
How the fuck does it always end on Walz responding? How does this keep happening? How every time does Walz get the last fucking say?
Help craft it. They're the ones that supported it. That's because they know we need to do this. Look, this issue of continuing to bring this up, of not dealing with it, of blaming.
And I want y'all to pay attention to that. He said something, and now Walz gets to respond with no additional statement.
Migrants for everything. On housing, we could talk a little bit about Wall Street speculators buying up housing and making them less affordable, but it becomes a blame. Look, this bill also gives the money necessary to adjudicate. I agree. It should not take 7 years for an asylum claim to be done. This bill gets it done in 90 days. Then you start to make a difference in this, and you start to adhere to what we know, American principles. Look, I don't talk about my faith a lot, but Matthew 25:40 talks about, to the least amongst us you do unto me. I think that's true of most Americans. They simply want order to it. This bill does it. It's funded.
Don't worry,
it's supported
Byron
by the
and
people
Gary,
who do
we're
it,
getting
and it
there.
lets us
And
keep our
Byron, we're
dignity
getting there.
about how we treat other people.
Thank you, Governor. And just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Well, Margaret, but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important
We're
because
going to turn now to the economy. Thank you.
The rules were that you guys weren't going to
we're-
fact check. And since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on. So there's an application called the CBP One app where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border wand. That is not a person coming in, applying for a green card and waiting for 10 years. That
Thank
is
you,
the
Senator.
facilitation of illegal immigration, Margaret, by
Thank
our
you,
own
Senator, for
leadership.
describing the legal process. We have so much to get to, Senator.
Those laws have been on the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The
we want to
CBP
have.
One app has not been on the books since 1990. It's something.
Did they just cut his fucking mic? Did they just cut his fucking mic because he corrected them on their fake bullshit? There's no fucking way they just cut his fucking mic. There's no fucking way that just happened. No fucking way.
Kamala Harris created, Margaret.
Gentlemen, the audience can't hear you because your mics are cut.
No, we can fucking hear him because you're full of shit. You let fucking Walz say his bullshit and then you cut JD off. No, your bullshit. You claimed you weren't fact checking things. No, you wanted to say your own bullshit and then you cut his fucking mic when he corrected you. That is unreal. That is fucking unheard of.
We have so much we want to get to.
No,
Thank you for
fuck everything you want to get to. You got to make shit up and JD corrected you.
explaining the legal process. Nora.
Thank you, Margaret. The economy is a top concern for voters. Each of your campaigns.
Y'all heard that though. Like he just said, no. They're not given legal status. It's some bullshit program that was not in place since 1990 called CBP One, which allows the president and the vice president to just go, yeah, you're legal. I'm going to fly you here. That's bullshit.
Has released an economic plan. So let's talk about the specifics. Governor Walz, Vice President Harris unveiled a plan that includes billions in tax credits for manufacturing, housing, and a renewed child tax credit. The Wharton School says your proposals will increase the nation's deficit by $1.2 trillion. How would you pay for that without ballooning the deficit? Governor, I'll give you 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. And Kamala Harris and I do believe in the middle class because that's where we come from. We both grew up in that. We understand. So those of you out there listening tonight, you're hearing a lot of stuff back.
I'm tired of this middle class bullshit. Hold on, let me show you right now. I'm gonna show you guys right now. me show you the fucking house. Let me show you the middle class house that fucking Kamala Harris grew up in. This is her middle class house. This is Kamala Harris's middle class living. This is her in the middle class. I'm sorry, did anybody in the middle class grow up in a fucking estate, a brick-built estate with a fucking yard, workers, a landscaping crew, a maid, somebody to take care of the home? Somebody grew up in that? Is that middle class to you? Shut up with that bullshit of this middle class growing up. So fucking tired of this. She didn't grow up in the fucking middle class. She grew up in Canada and then decided to come to the US and live in a huge fucking house.
Back and forth, and it's good. It's healthy. That's what this is supposed to happen.
Him,
you should be listening. How's this going to impact me? The bold forward plan that Kamala Harris put out there is talking about this housing issue. The one thing is there's 3 million new houses proposed under this plan.
No. Guys, here's the thing. I keep hearing this 3 million new houses. The government does not build houses. They have never built homes. They've never done this. So when she proposes building 3 million new homes, what she's saying is we're going to somehow force the private sector to build 3 million new homes. I want you to think about this for a second. You guys do the math yourself. 3 million homes in 4 years. Do the math on how many homes need to get built every fucking day just to make that a reality. Go ahead and do that math yourselves. Oh my God, what the fuck is with your shit? And now I'm going to stop share and it's going to work again. These fucking... Oh my God.
Look, the $35 insulin is a good thing, but it costs $5 to make insulin. They were charging $800 before this law went into effect. As far as the housing goes, I've seen it in Minnesota. 12% more houses in Minneapolis. Prices went down on rent 4%. It's working. And then making sure tax cuts go to the middle class. $6,000 child tax credit, we have one in Minnesota, reduces childhood poverty by 1/3. We save money in the long run, and we do the right thing for families. And then getting businesses off the ground. The law as it stands right now is $5,000 tax credit for small business, increasing that to $50,000. Now, this is a philosophical difference between us. Donald Trump made a promise, and I'll give you this. He kept it. He took folks to Mar-a-Lago. He said, you're rich as hell, and give you a tax cut. He gave the tax cut.
Thank you, Looper. 2,055 homes per day need to be built in the next 4 years.
That predominantly went to the top class. What happened there was an $8 trillion increase in the national debt, the largest ever. Now he's proposing a 20% consumption or sales tax on everything we bring in. Everyone agrees, including businesses, it would be destabilizing it, it would increase inflation and potentially lead to a recession. Look, this is simple for you. Where are we going? Kamala Harris has said to do the things she wants to do. We'll just ask the wealthiest to pay their fair share. When you do that, our system works best, more people are participating in it, and folks have...
Guys, I just want to point out that if you did tax the 1% at what Kamala Harris wants to tax them, it would pay for 3 days of the government. It would fund, at best, this is the best possible case scenario, it would fund the government for 3 days.
The things that they need.
Senator, I want to give you a moment to respond on that, but similarly...
See, here we go. Every time JD gets to respond, they add in something. He doesn't just get to respond to what Walz said. Every time. This keeps happening. Every time Vance says something, Walz gets to immediately respond. Walz says something, they want to add in some shit for before JD gets to respond. This is fucking insane.
The Wharton School has done an analysis of the Trump plan and says it would increase the nation's deficit by $5.8 trillion. My question is the same for you. How do you pay for all that without ballooning the deficit? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, you're going to hear a lot from Tim Walz this evening, and you just heard it in the answer, a lot of what Kamala Harris proposes to do. And some of it, I'll be honest with you, it even sounds pretty good. Here's what you won't hear, is that Kamala Harris has already done it. Because she's been the vice president for 3.5 years. She had the opportunity to enact all of these great policies, and what she's actually done instead is drive the cost of food higher by 25%. Drive the cost of housing higher by about 60%, open the American southern border, and make middle-class life unaffordable for a large number of Americans. If Kamala Harris has such great plans for how to address middle-class problems, then she ought to do them now. Not when asking for a promotion, but in the job the American people gave her 3.5 years ago. And the fact that she isn't tells you a lot about how much you can trust her action.
Oh my God, this is insane. Their fucking streams are like, it just keeps cutting out.
To China. The issue for that was to try and learn. Now, look, my community knows who I am. They saw where I was at. Look, I will be the first to tell you, I have poured my heart into my community. I've tried to do the best I can, but I've not been perfect. And I'm a knucklehead at times, but it's always been about that. Those same people elected me to Congress for 12 years. And in Congress, I was one of the most bipartisan people, working on things like farm bills that we got done, working on veterans benefits. And then the people of Minnesota were able to elect me to governor twice. So look, my commitment has been from the beginning to make sure that I'm there for the people, to make sure that I get this right. I will say more than anything, many times I will talk a lot, I will get caught up in the rhetoric, but being there, the impact it made, the difference it made in my life, I learned a lot about China. I hear the critiques of this. I would make the case that Donald Trump should have come on one of those trips with us. I guarantee you he wouldn't be praising Xi Jinping about COVID, and I guarantee you he wouldn't start a trade war that he ends up losing. So this is about trying to understand the world. It's about trying to do the best you can for your community, and then it's putting yourself out there and letting your folks understand what it is. My commitment, whether it be through teaching, which I was good at, or whether it was being a good soldier or was being a good member of Congress, those are the things that I think are the values that people care about.
Shut up.
Governor, just to follow up on that.
Oh my God, just let JD respond. Oh my God.
The question was, can you explain the discrepancy?
All I said on this was I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just, that's what I've said. So I was in Hong Kong and China during the democracy protests went in. And from that, I learned a lot of what needed to be in governance.
Thank you, Governor. Senator Vance, in 2016, you called your running mate, Donald Trump, unfit for the nation's highest office, and you said he could be America's Hitler. I know you've been asked many times, and you've said you regret those comments and explained you then voted for Donald Trump in 2020. But the Washington Post reported new messages last week in which you also disparaged Trump's economic record.
Oh my God. Oh my, I'm getting sick and fucking tired of these streams, guys.
Not just the advice he wants to hear. You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, Margaret, because I've always been open. And sometimes, of course, I've disagreed with the president, but
guys, this is this. Let's try it again. They don't want anybody streaming this.
You also disparaged Trump's economic
speak when you get something wrong and you change your mind.
This is
of course, I've disagreed with the president, but I've also been extremely open about the fact that I was wrong about Donald Trump. I was wrong, first of all, because I believed some of the media stories that turned out to be dishonest fabrications of his record. But most importantly, Donald Trump delivered for the American people. Rising wages, rising take-home pay, an economy that worked for normal Americans, a secure southern border, a lot of things, frankly, that I didn't think he'd be able to deliver on. And yeah, when you screw up, when you misspeak, when you get something wrong and you change your mind, you ought to be be honest with the American people about it. It's one of the reasons, Margaret, why I've done so many interviews, is because I think it's important to actually explain to the American people where I come down on the issues and what changed. Now, you pointed out the messages from 2020. Margaret, I've been extremely consistent that I think there were a lot of things that we could have done better in the Trump administration the first round if Congress was doing its job. I strongly believe, and I've been a United States Senator, that Congress is not just a high-class debating society. It's not just a forum for senators and congressmen to whine about problems. It's a forum to govern. So there were a lot of things on the border, on tariffs, for example, where I think that we could have done so much more if the Republican Congress and the Democrats in Congress had been a little bit better about how they govern the country. They were so obsessed with impeaching Donald Trump, they couldn't actually govern. And I want to talk about this tariff issue in particular, Margaret, because Tim just accused this of being a national sales tax. Look, the one thing, and you're probably surprised to hear me praising Joe Biden, but the one thing that Joe Biden did is he continued some of the Trump tariffs that protected American manufacturing jobs. And it's the one issue, the most pro-worker part of the Biden administration, it's the one issue where Kamala Harris has run away from Joe Biden's record. Think about this. If you're trying to employ slave laborers in China at $3 a day, you're going to do that and undercut the wages of American workers unless our country stands up for itself and says, you're not accessing our markets unless you're paying middle-class Americans a fair wage.
Damn right.
Senator, your time is up. Nora?
Thank you. Now to the issue of reproductive rights.
Thank God.
Governor Walz, after Roe versus Wade was overturned, you signed a bill into law that made Minnesota one of the least restrictive states in the nation when it comes to abortion. Former President Trump said in the last debate that you believe abortion, quote, in the 9th month is absolutely fine.
That was your quote.
Yes or no? Is that what you support? I'll give you 2 minutes.
That's not what the bill says, but look, this
They didn't say that's what the bill said, Walls. They said that's what you, quote, said.
issue is what's on everyone's mind. Donald Trump put this all into motion. He brags about how great it was that he put the judges in and overturned Roe versus Wade. 52 years of personal.
Yeah, because it's great. It's great. I'm glad he put the judges. I'm glad y'all women don't have the ability to murder your fucking children anymore so that your body looks good for Cancun. And here's the thing. If you want to have abortions, fuck you. Fuck you. You fucking slut. Stop being a fucking slut and you won't have to worry about having an abortion so much. I'm sorry if that upsets you. I'm sorry if you're a woman who's like, I need bodily autonomy. Don't fuck people you don't want to have kids with. No, not a chance. So, but don't fuck people you don't want to have kids with. I'm sorry, but that's the reality, guys. Abortion is used 99.2% of the time because y'all fucked the wrong dude. That's on you. I'm going to talk like I'm talking.
Autonomy. And then he tells us, oh, we send it to the states. It's a beautiful thing. Amanda Zaworski would disagree with you on it's a beautiful thing. A young bride in Texas waiting for their child at 18 weeks. She has a complication, a tear in the membrane. She needs to go in. The medical care at that point needs to be decided by the doctor. And that would have been an abortion. But in Texas, that would have put them in legal jeopardy. She went home, got sepsis, nearly dies, and now she may have difficulty having children. Or in Kentucky, Hadley Duvall, a 12-year-old child raped and impregnated by her stepfather. Those are horrific. Now, when God asked about that, Senator Vance said 2 wrongs don't make a right. There is no right in this. So in Minnesota, what we did was restore Roe versus Wade. We made sure that we put women in charge of their health care. But look, this is not where, if you don't know Amanda or a Hadley, you soon
murdering
will.
Your child.
Their Project 2025 is going to have a registry of pregnancies. It's going to make it more difficult, if not impossible, to get contraception and limit access, if not eliminate access to infertility treatments. For so many of you out there listening, me included, infertility treatments are why I have a child. That's nobody else's business, but those things are being proposed. And the catch-all.
He did not use IVF. I'm tired of this fucking narrative. I'm tired of him trying to play this narrative. He did not use IVF to have a kid. We know this.
On this is, well, the states will decide what's right for Texas might not be right for Washington.
Yeah.
That's not how this works.
That is
this
how this
basic
works.
human right. We have seen maternal mortality skyrocket in Texas, outpacing many other countries in the world. This is about health care. In Minnesota, we are ranked first in health care for a reason. We trust women. We trust doctors.
Senator, do you want to respond to the governor's claim? Will you create a federal pregnancy monitoring agency?
No, Nora, certainly we won't. And I want to talk about this issue because I know a lot of Americans care about it, and I know a lot of Americans don't agree with everything that I've ever said on this topic. And, you know, I grew up in a working class family in a neighborhood where I knew a lot of young women who had unplanned pregnancies and decided to terminate those pregnancies because they feel like they didn't have any other options. And, you know, one of them is actually very dear to me. And I know she's watching tonight, and I love you. And she told me something a couple years ago that she felt like if she hadn't had that abortion, that it would have destroyed her life because she was in an abusive relationship. And I think that what I take from that as a Republican who proudly wants to protect innocent life in this country, who proudly wants to protect the vulnerable, is that my party, we've got to do so much better of a job at earning the American people's trust back on this issue where they frankly just don't trust us. And I think that's one of the things that Donald Trump and I are endeavoring to do. I want us as a Republican Party to be pro-family in the fullest sense of the word. I want us to support fertility treatments. I want us to make it easier for moms to afford to have babies. I want it to make it easier for young families to afford a home so they can afford a place to raise that family. And I think there's so much that we can do on the public policy front just to give women more options. Now, of course, Donald Trump has been very clear that on the abortion policy specifically, that we have a big country and it's diverse. And California has a different viewpoint on this than Georgia. Georgia has a different viewpoint from Arizona. And the proper way to handle this, as messy as democracy sometimes is to let voters make these decisions, let the individual states make their abortion policy. And I think that's what makes the most sense in a very big, a very diverse, and let's be honest, sometimes a very, very messy and divided country.
Governor, would you like to respond and also answer the question about restrictions?
And now it's freezing again. Guys, I wish I could fucking do something about this, but this is their stream. Sorry, guys. This is their stream.
Basic as the right to control your own body is determined on geography. There's a very real chance.
It's not determined on geography. It's determined by your state. Determined by the voters. You fucking
That's why the restoration of Roe versus Wade. When you listen to Vice President Harris talk about this subject and you hear me talk about it, you hear us talking exactly the same. Donald.
See, look at this. The guys, like, I have no control over this. This is. Guys, they're I can't, their streams are shit.
Should still be alive, and I certainly wish that she was. And maybe you're free to disagree with me on this and explain this to me, but as I read the Minnesota law that you signed into law, the statute that you signed into law, it says that a doctor who presides over an abortion where the baby survives, the doctor is under no obligation to provide life-saving care to a baby who survives a botched late-term abortion. That is, I think, whether you're pro-choice or pro-choice,
it's in the language of the law, dickhead.
Fundamentally barbaric, and that's why I use that word, Nora, is because some of what we've seen. Do you want to force Catholic hospitals to perform abortions against their will? Because Kamala Harris has supported suing Catholic nuns to violate their freedom of conscience. We can be a big and diverse country where we respect people's freedom of conscience and make the country more pro-baby and pro-family. But please.
Yes, Governor, please respond.
All right, so we have to try a different stream because again, these streams, I can't do anything for this. Like, is there a better fucking stream? Like, all right, let's try this one. All these streams are cutting out.
They get meals. They get early childhood education. They get health care. So the
Hopefully this
hiding
one
behind
worked.
we're going to do all these other things.
It's
when you're
murder.
not proposing them
Exactly,
in your budget.
Courtney's.
Kamala Harris is proposing them. She's proposing all those things to make life easier for families.
I asked a specific question, Governor. You gave me a slogan as a response.
It's not the case. It's not true. That's not what the law says. So they fact-checked it with President Trump.
No, they didn't.
Gentlemen, there's a lot to discuss. We have to move on, and we're going to be right back with much more of the CBS News vice presidential debate in just a moment.
So that was the thing, is that I love that he called him out on that. He's like, the law that you signed said that if if a child survives a fucking late term abortion, you are under no obligation to provide them care. Like, that's what it says. And here's the thing, guys. I think this is a perfect example of where America has gone wrong, that we are in a vice presidential debate. We are in a debate between the two vice presidential candidates of the United States. By the way, why am I so little in this? I need to. Let me ask you all, why the fuck are we having commercial breaks? Like, this should not be something that we have commercial breaks for. We should not have commercials for this. Like, guys, this is a perfect example of what is wrong with our fucking society. This is the vice presidential debate. Why the fuck are we having ads and commercials? This should not be a thing we do. We should not have ads. We should not have commercials. We should not have promotion. We should not have any of this. There should be no, like, I don't know. Maybe, like, guys, was there commercial breaks during the presidential debate? I don't think there was. No, here's the thing. You want to have real debates? Have the first one hosted by Elon Musk. Have the second one hosted by Joe Rogan. And it's completely unedited, uncut. He gets to ask whatever the fuck he wants. Like, this is bad. Like, the fact that there are ads during the vice presidential debate, this is bad. This is not okay, guys. There were 2 breaks during the presidential. I don't remember them. But there should not be fucking commercial breaks. This is ridiculous. The fact that we have commercial breaks is fucking embarrassing. Exactly. Why can't we have a live stream town hall Q&A? Let the people ask the questions. Yeah, Looper, we're going to have to check that out. Send me that, please. But this is fucking, like, the fact that our presidential debates have ad breaks is fucking, that bothers me. I'm not happy about that. Exactly. Allowing a doctor not to help a failed abortion is fucking manslaughter. I agree. But again, here's the thing. Like, this is, guys, you guys ask me all the time why I don't run for office. And you're like, when are you running for Congress or this? Because I would be such a fucking asshole. Like the minute somebody doesn't answer my question, I'd go, no. Give him my 2 minutes. I want to hear him answer the fucking question, because he took your 2 minutes and didn't answer the question. So I want to fucking hear an answer. I just keep giving him my 2 minutes. I'd say, no, let him answer the fucking question. But no, we don't do that. We just act like it's not a fucking big deal. But like, well, I asked him this complicated question and he didn't answer it at all. Like, this is bullshit. But I will say JD Vance fucked up at the beginning. He did a good job, but he fucked up at the beginning when he sat there and took forever to answer that fucking question. That annoyed the fuck out of me. It was like, JD, just I sent you a DM. I have a different platform for the debate if you want. No, well, hopefully this one works. We've gone on to Face the Nation. All right, so let's see.
Debate. We want to turn now to America's gun violence epidemic. The leading cause of death for children and teens in America is by firearms.
If you count
Senator
19-year-olds.
Vance, you oppose most gun legislation that Democrats claim would curb gun violence. You oppose red flag gun laws and legislation to ban certain semi-automatic rifles, including AR-15s. So let me ask you, earlier this year, for the first time, the parents of a school shooter were convicted of involuntary manslaughter and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Do you think holding parents responsible could curb mass shootings? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, Nora, on that particular case, I don't know the full details, but I certainly trust local law enforcement and local authorities to make those decisions. I think in some cases the answer is going to be yes, and in some cases the answer is going to be no. And the details really matter here, of course. For example, if a kid steals a gun, that's going to be different than if a parent hands over a gun knowing that their kid is potentially dangerous. But look, I want to just sort of speak as a father of 3 beautiful little kids, and our oldest is now in 2nd grade. And like a lot of parents, we send our kids to school with such hope and such joy and such pride at their little faces on the first day of school. And we know, unfortunately, that a lot of kids are going to experience this terrible epidemic of gun violence. And of course, our hearts go out to the families that are affected by this terrible stuff. And we do have to do better. Right? And I think that Governor Walz and I actually probably agree that we need to do better on this. The question is just, how do we actually do it? Now, here's something that really bothers me and worries me about this epidemic of violence. The gross majority, close to 90% in some of the statistics I've seen, of the gun violence in this country is committed with illegally obtained firearms. And while we're on that topic, we know that thanks to Kamala Harris's open border, we've seen a massive influx in the number of illegal guns run by the Mexican drug cartel. So that number, the amount of illegal guns in our country is higher today than it was 3.5 years ago. But what do we do about the schools? What do we do to protect our kids? And I think the answer is, and I say this not loving the answer, because I don't want my kids to go to school in a school that feels unsafe or where there are visible signs of security. But I unfortunately think that we have to increase security in our schools. We have to make the doors lock better. We have to make the doors stronger. We've got to make the windows stronger. And of course, we've got to increase school resource officers, because the idea that we can magically wave a wand and take guns out of the hands of bad guys, it just doesn't fit with recent experience. So we've got to make our schools safer. And I think we've got to have some common sense bipartisan solutions for how to do that.
Governor, you have 2 minutes.
No, and here's the thing, is that here's the answer to the gun issue. Treat our children the same way we treat our money, our politicians, and our celebrities. Because our money, we use huge doors and armed guards to back them. Our politicians, we use armed guards and big doors to support them. Our celebrities, we use armed guards and security to protect them. But we don't do that for our kids. We don't care. We as the American people do not care about the safety of children. Not nearly as much as we care about the safety of politicians. Because if we did, we would give them the same protection we give politicians.
Just live with it. And I here's what I do think, that this is a good start to the conversation. I 100% believe that Senator Vance hates it when these kids, it's abhorrent and it breaks your heart. I agree with that. But that's not far enough when we know there are things that worked. I've spent time in Finland and seen some Finnish schools. They don't have this happen, even though they have a high gun ownership rate in the country. There are reasonable things that we can do to make a difference. It's not infringing on your Second Amendment. And the idea to have some of these weapons out there, it just doesn't make any sense. Kamala Harris, as an attorney general, worked on this issue. She knows that it's there. No one's trying to scaremonger and say we're taking your guns, but I ask all of you out there, do you want your schools hardened to look like a fort?
Yes.
Is that what we have to go?
Yes.
When we know
Yes.
there's countries around the world that their children aren't practicing these types of drills. They're being kids. We owe it to them to get a fix. These are things that shouldn't be that difficult. You can still keep your firearms, and we can make a difference. We have to. If you're listening tonight, this breaks your heart.
Senator.
Tim, first of all, I didn't know that your 17-year-old witnessed a shooting. And I'm sorry about that, and I hope that he's doing okay. Christ have mercy. It is awful. And I appreciate what Tim said, actually, about Finland, because I do think it illustrates some of the frankly.
Can somebody fact check that? Tim Walz just said his 17-year-old child witnessed a school shooting. I'm going to fact check that later.
Weird differences between our own country's gun violence problem and Finland is, okay, first of all, we have way higher rates of mental health abuse or mental health substance abuse. We have way higher rates of depression, way higher rates of anxiety. We unfortunately have a mental health crisis in this country that I really do think that we need to get to the root causes of, because I don't think it's the whole reason why we have such a bad gun violence problem, but I do think it's a big piece of it. Another driver of the gun violence epidemic, especially that affecting our kids, it doesn't earn as many headlines, but is the terrible gun violence problem in a lot of our big cities. And this is why we have to empower law enforcement to arrest the bad guys, put them away, and take gun offenders off the streets. I think there's a whole host of things that we can do here, but I do think at our schools we've got to talk about more security.
Senator, thank you. Governor, you previously opposed an assault weapons ban, but it only later in your political career did you change your position. Why?
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it. Look, the NRA, I was the NRA guy for a long time. They used to teach gun safety.
Did y'all hear that? Did he just say I became friends with school shooters? Maybe I misheard that. Did you guys just hear him say I become friends with school shooters? Hold on. We gotta go back.
Talk about more security.
Senator, thank you. Governor, you previously opposed an assault weapons ban, but it only later in your political career did you change your position. Why?
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it.
Yeah, so okay, I didn't mishear that. He just said I became friends with school shooters. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I didn't mishear that. Thanks for the clip there, Walz.
Look, the NRA, I was the NRA guy for a long time. They used to teach gun safety. I'm of an age where my shotgun was in my car so I could pheasant hunt after football practice. That's not where we live today. And several things I want to mention on this is talking about cities and where it's at. The number one where the most firearm deaths happen in Minnesota are rural suicides. And we have an epidemic of children getting guns and shooting themselves. And so we have, and we should look at all of the issues. Making sure folks have health care and all that, but I want to be very careful. This idea of stigmatizing mental health, just because you have a mental health issue doesn't mean you're violent. And
no, it doesn't mean you're violent. I want to be clear about this too. Just because you have a mental health issue doesn't mean you're violent. But the vast majority of people who have who conduct school shootings have mental health issues.
And I think what we end up doing is we start looking for a scapegoat. Sometimes it just is the guns. It's just the guns. And there are things that you can do about it.
The worst thing is Tim Walz already disproved that. He said, I used to keep a shotgun in my truck to go pheasant hunting afterwards. Yeah, why didn't anybody conduct a school shooting with that, Tim? Because you didn't support mental health issues. You didn't support men saying they were women or women saying they were men or people being transgender or fucking gender binary or fucking penguin cells because you're supporting mental health deficiencies.
But I do think that this is one, and I think this is a healthy conversation. I think there's a capacity to find solutions on this that work, protect Second Amendment, protect our children. That's our priority.
Gentlemen, thank you. Margaret.
Thank you, Nora. Let's turn now to the top contributor to inflation, the high cost of housing and rent. There's a shortage of more than 4 million homes in the United States, and that contributes to the high housing prices. Governor Walz, The Harris campaign promises a $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers and a $10,000 tax credit. They also promise to build 3 million new homes. Where are you building these homes, and won't handing out that kind of money just drive up prices higher?
No, it's not handing out. First, let me say this issue of housing, and I think those of you listening on this, the problem we've had is that we've got a lot of folks that see housing as another commodity. It can be bought up, it can be shifted, it can be moved around. Those are not folks living in those houses. Those of you listening tonight, that house is a big deal. I bought and owned one house in my life. My mom still lives in the house where I was. And when I think of a house, I'm thinking of Christmas services after midnight mass where you go with your family. We need to make it more affordable. And one of the things, as I said, this program that the Vice President is pushing forward and bringing a new way of approaching this is something we're doing in Minnesota from that lead. We in the state invested in making sure our housing was the biggest investment that we'd ever made in housing. It starts to make it easier. We cut some of the red tape. Local folks, look, we can't do it at the federal level, but local folks make it easier to build those homes. And then that down payment assistance. I can tell all of you out there, certainly for me, using the GI Bill was one thing, but a veteran's home loan, the big thing about a veteran's home loan is you don't have to pay the down payment. Those are things that make it there. Now, look, you're going to pay it back, and you're going to pay your mortgage. Those are things that we know in the long run, the appreciated value, the generational wealth that's created from it. And I will give Minneapolis an example. Minneapolis is the one city where we've seen the lowest inflation rates. We've seen a 12% increase in stock.
He just tried to say Minneapolis is where they saw the lowest inflation rates. I'll let him talk.
Because we've put some of these things in, and we're implementing a state program to make sure we give some of that down payment assistance. We get it back from people because here's what we know. People with stable housing end up with stable jobs. People with stable housing have their kids able to get to school. All of those things in the long run end up saving our money. And that's the thing that I think we should be able to find some common ground in, but we can't blame immigrants for the only reason. That's not the case that's happening in many cities. The fact of the matter is that we don't have enough naturally affordable housing, but we can make sure that the government's there to help kickstart it, create that base.
Governor, your time is up. Senator Vance.
Hold on. Let me just show you all this here. Let me see. Go ahead and bring this down here. Minneapolis. Wait, can y'all see this? Minneapolis has been among the cities with the largest inflation issues, along with Chicago, Detroit, Honolulu, and New York City. Wait, Democrat. Minneapolis had the largest inflation problem among 23 major cities. Where's the fact check? I cannot believe he tried to fucking say that shit. Fuck you, Tim.
As far as your campaign's position, the promise is to seize federal lands to build homes, remove regulation, provide tax breaks, and cut back on immigration, which you say pushes up prices. Where are you going to build all the new homes you're promising, and what part of any of this plan will provide immediate relief? You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, Tim just said something that I agree with. We don't want to blame immigrants for higher housing prices, but we do want to blame Kamala Harris for letting in millions of illegal aliens into this country, which does drive up costs, Tim. 25 million illegal aliens competing with Americans for scarce homes is one of the most significant drivers of home prices in the country. It's why we have massive increases in home prices that have happened right alongside massive increases in illegal alien populations under Kamala Harris's leadership. Now, Tim just mentioned a bunch of ideas. Now, some of those ideas I actually think are halfway decent, and some of them I disagree with. But the most important thing here is Kamala Harris is not running as a newcomer to politics. She is the sitting vice president. If she wants to enact all of these policies to make housing more affordable, I invite her to use the office that the American people already gave her, not sit around and campaign and do nothing while Americans find the American dream dream of homeownership completely unaffordable. Now, you asked, Margaret, what would immediately change the equation for American citizens if you lower energy prices? As Donald Trump says, drill, baby, drill. One of the biggest drivers of housing costs, aside from illegal immigration, is think about it. If a truck driver is paying 40% more for diesel, then the lumber he's delivering to the job site to build the house is also going to become a lot more expensive. If we open up American energy, you will get immediate pricing relief for American citizens, not, by the way, just in housing, but in a whole host of other economic goods too.
Guys, just so you know, I work in the energy sector. Energy prices affect everything. When you drill for oil here in America, like let me tell you all this. If you reduce the price of a barrel of gasoline by 5 cents, you will see a reduction in the prices that you see in every one of your goods by at least 20%. That's what energy prices do for everyone. And people fucking ignore this because no matter what you do, no matter how much EV love you have in your fucking life, your goods are delivered by ship. They are transported across the US by rail. They are transported from rail to the stores by truck. They are loaded onto the shelves by forklifts powered by gasoline. And here's the thing, 62% of those products are made with leftovers from gas, from fuel, from oil. Energy prices affect everything.
Senator Vance, you still have 23 seconds there. Do you want to answer?
Can I have it?
Where, yeah. Governor, we will get to you in a moment. But Senator, where are you going to seize the federal lands? Can you clarify?
Well, what Donald Trump has said is we have a lot of federal lands that aren't being used for anything. They're not being used for a national park. They're not being used, and they could be places where we build.
I just want to give Walz credit. That was slick. He introduced like a little bit of humor into it. Hey, can I use it? That was slick. I like that. That's a smart debate tactic. Introduce a little humor into it just as a joke, loosen everybody up. That was very good for him.
A lot of housing, and I do think that we should be opening up building in this country. We have a lot of land that could be used. We have a lot of Americans that need homes. We should be kicking out illegal immigrants who are competing for those homes, and we should be building more homes for the American citizens who deserve to be here.
Senator, your time is up. Governor, I do want to let you respond to the allegation that the vice president is letting in.
Well, of course, that's not true. And again, you have the facts. I guess we agreed not to fact check. I'll check it. Look, crossings are down compared to when Donald Trump left office. But it's, again, blaming and not trying to find the solution. I was going to ask, though, on this question, are we going to drill and build houses in the same federal land? And I think when people hear federal lands, these are really important pieces of land. Now, Minnesota doesn't have a lot of federal lands. I know in the western part of the countries we do. There's not a lot of federal lands in and around Minneapolis, for example. So the issue is I don't understand the federal lands issue unless we see this, and I worry about this as someone who cares deeply about our national parks and our federal lands. Look, Minnesota, we protect these things. We've got about 20% of the world's fresh water. These lands protect. They're there for a reason. They belong to all of us. But again, this is when you view housing and you view these things as commodities. Like, there's a chance to make money here. Let's take this federal land and let's sell it to people for that. I think there's better ways to do this. We've seen it in Minnesota. We're able to refurbish some of these houses. We're able to make some investments. That gets people in. And I'm still on the fact on this. Economists.
Crossings are down.
Senator Vance, you said you don't like the economists. Which economists are saying that it is immigrants that's adding to the cost?
Governor, your time is.
Hold on a second. Guys, in the chat, when did he say crossings are down compared to when Trump left office? Can't find my TikTok account? You talking about my big account?
Well, he got banned.
So that one's gone.
That's probably why.
Yeah, my big account got banned.
I'm assuming you already explained to them.
I'm going to have to find that later. Yeah, guys, this is why you see, wait, where's my camera? This is why you see my new account at the bottom. My main account got, right when he started talking. Wait, right there when he just started talking? Hold on.
Your time is up, but Senator, on that.
should be used. We have a lot of
Let me try
Americans
it.
that
Let me
need
see again.
homes. We should be kicking out illegal immigrants who are competing for those homes, and we should be building more homes for the American citizens who deserve to be here.
Senator, your time is up. Governor, I do want to let you respond to the allegation that the vice president is letting in.
Well, of course, that's not
migrants,
true. And again,
that
you
it's
have the
affecting
facts. I
housing
guess we
prices.
agreed not to fact check. I'll check it. That, look, crossings are down compared to when Donald Trump left office.
Chat. Look, there's some things that are hard to fact check, right? There's some things that are really tough. This is not one of them.
This is why I don't deal with this shit. I just don't even listen. It's just so infuriating. Yes, it's unbelievable.
Walls is comparing
So-
July 2024 to January 2021. 1 month that crossings are down. No, 1 month that crossing reportings are down.
Senator, you have not yet explained how you would protect people with pre-existing conditions or laid out that plan.
Well, look, we currently have laws and regulations in place right now that protect people with pre-existing conditions. We want to keep those regulations in place, but we also want to make the health insurance marketplace function a little bit better. Now, what Governor Walz just said is actually not true. A lot of what happened and the reason that Obamacare was crushing under its own weight is that a lot of young and healthy people were leaving the exchanges. Donald Trump actually helped address that problem. And
Guys, is there any room left on Tim Walz's paper? This man has been writing all fucking night. I expect him to have a new Declaration of Independence when we're done.
he did so in a way that preserved people's access to coverage who had pre-existing conditions. But again, something that these guys do is they make a lot of claims about if Donald Trump becomes president, all of these terrible consequences are going to ensue. But in reality, Donald Trump was president. Inflation was low. Take-home pay was higher. And he saved the very program from a Democratic administration that was collapsing and would have collapsed absent his leadership. He did his job, which is govern in a bipartisan way and get results, not just complain about problems, but actually solve them.
And he should have ended that with bitch. Like, that's how you end it. Like, this is why I can't run for office, because I would have said what JD just said, but I would have ended it with bitch. That's how I would have been like, motherfucker. Like, that's how you end a statement like that. Like, that's how you dust a motherfucker. You say that, you're presidential. You say, let me tell you why you're wrong. Let me fix what you're saying. Motherfucker. Like, that's how you do it.
You know he wanted
Like, God damn, you know he wanted to end it with the, what's up, bitch? Like, you know he wanted to throw hands.
You know
but
he
it's fine.
wanted to be like,
It's fine. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry, guys. You asked when am I running for office? This is why I don't run for office. Because I would have been up on that stage and I'd be like, what you got to say, Tim? Fuck you. Right. And that's why I can't run for office, because they would not like that in a debate. So I got to be chill.
let's bring back
Governor, did
dueling.
enrollment under the Affordable Care Act go up under the Trump
Just saying.
administration?
It's higher now that we've seen it go up. Look, people are using it. The system works. And the question about this of young people or whatever, that's the individual mandate piece of this. And Republicans fought
obliged.
tooth and nail
Exactly,
saying,
Leanne.
well, Americans should be free to do this. Well, then
So
what
you
happens
think the
is
individual mandate's a good idea?
you shrink. I think the idea of making sure the risk pool is broad enough to cover everyone, that's the only
You say that literally it's going to be how debates are in 20 years with Gen Z. In 20 years of Gen Z, somebody's going to make a huge point. And somebody's going to be like, bitch, say what? And they'd be like, what? He'd be like, yep. We got him. Fuck him.
only way insurance works. When it doesn't, it collapses. You are asking
Wait, what's higher
pre-ACA where we
I'm
get
sorry, I
people
missed
out.
it.
Look,
Hold on.
when we are able to make
Inflation was low, take-home pay was higher, and he saved the very program from a Democratic administration that was collapsing and would have collapsed absent his leadership. He did his job, which is govern in a bipartisan way and get results, not just complain about problems, but actually solve them.
Governor,
Bitch.
did enrollment under the Affordable Care Act go up under the Trump administration?
it's higher now that we've seen it go up. Look, people are using it. The system works. And the question about this of young people or whatever, that's the individual mandate piece of this. And Republicans fought tooth and nail saying, well, Americans should be free to do this. Well, then
So
what
you
happens
think the
is
individual mandate's a good idea?
you shrink. I think the idea of making sure the risk pool is broad enough to cover everyone, that's the only way insurance works. When it doesn't, it collapses. You are asking pre-ACA where we get people out. Look, people
United States is one of the
It's higher now that we've seen it go up. Look, people are using it. The system works. And the question about this of young people or whatever, that's the individual mandate piece of this. And Republicans fought tooth and nail saying, well, Americans should be free to do this. Well, then
So
what
you
happens
think the
is
individual mandate's a good idea?
you shrink. I think the idea of making sure the risk pool is broad enough to cover everyone, that's the only way
Democrats don't
insurance
support
works.
that.
When it doesn't, it collapses. You are asking pre-ACA where we get people out. Look, people know that they need to be on health care. People expect it to be there. And when we are able to make it, and we are making it this way, when we incentivize people to be in the market, when we help people who might not be able to afford it get there, and we make sure then when you get sick and old, it's there for you. Because I heard people say, well, I don't want to buy into Medicare or whatever. Good luck buying health care once you get past 70. So look, the ACA works.
And I wonder why that is.
Hold on, wait. We got to point out what he just said. Somebody just said, I don't want to buy into healthcare when I'm old. And he said, good luck, good luck buying. He said, I don't want to buy into Medicare. He said, good luck into buying into private healthcare. That is how Democrats think. The way they look at it is they go, I'm going to make the private market as unaffordable as possible through legislation so that if you buck buying into the government system, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
We can continue to do better. Kamala Harris did that. The way she made everything better was negotiate.
He looks scared and he looks sad.
Hold on a second.
I mentioned that earlier. I was like, why does he look so sad?
He literally just made the statement that Kamala Harris made everything better. He just said that. He said the way that she made everything better. You know how fucking stupid you have to be to say she made everything better? Like, oh my God.
Yeah, but I wish that the lady would be like, how?
No, she won't.
How?
No, this is them.
Those 10 drugs on Medicare for the first time in American history.
Thank you, Margaret.
Can I address that?
I apologize. We're out of time. We have a number of
No, we're
subjects
not out
to
of time.
discuss.
You just
Margaret.
never
Let's
let
talk
him
about
fucking
families
respond.
in America. There is a child care crisis in this country, and the United States is one of the very few developed countries in the world.
Like, let's be real, guys. This is not the 80s. Why does she have shoulder pads?
Okay, but it's pink, and I do.
No, she has shoulder pads and it's badly tailored. That's a bad suit.
Well, it's pink though. I dig the pink.
It's pink, but she has shoulder pads on. Like, guys, it's not
Pink is bold.
It's not the 1990s. You don't wear shoulder pads.
I would wear that.
Okay, good. You look like a robot, like she does.
I wouldn't wear that white shit underneath.
She looks like a motherfucking robot.
I would just wear that and only that.
Her shoulders are built perfectly like a coat hanger.
Without a national paid leave program for new parents. Governor Walz, you said that if Democrats win both the White House and Congress, this is a day one priority for you. How long should employers be required to pay workers while they are home taking care of their newborns? You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's negotiable, and that's what Congress worked. But here's what the deal is. Americans sitting out there right now, you may work for a big company. Look, we're home in Minnesota to some of the largest Fortune 500 companies.
You're definitely
Kamala
not.
Harris knows that in California. Those companies provide paid family.
Hold on.
I mean,
we're going to fact check.
Why the fuck is he talking again? He already had 2 minutes. That pisses me off.
Minnesota has 17 of the Fortune 500 companies.
How many did he say?
And none of them are headquartered there. Not a single, like, they have offices there. Hold on. How many Fortune he said many. Yes, 17. So thank you.
Medical leave. One is, I think they're moral and they think it's a good thing, but it also keeps their employees healthy.
She's wearing the same
Dolores
Umbridge wore in Harry Potter.
I'm so glad you paused it for
Jimmy,
that.
thank you. Thank you for that, Jimmy.
We in Minnesota passed a paid family and medical leave. You have a child, and I had to go back to work 5 days after my kids were born. This allows you to stay home a certain amount of time. What we know is that gets the child off to a better start, the family works better, We stay in their employers. We get more consistency in that. So Kamala Harris has made it a priority. We implemented it in Minnesota, and we see growth. That's how you become a pro-business state. But the negotiations on it, and here's the issue.
Exactly.
Those big companies are able to offer it. Those of you out there who don't have it, just imagine what happens if you get cancer or your child gets sick. We know what happens. You end up staying home. In some cases, that means no paycheck because you've got no protection on that. This is the case of an economy that Donald Trump has set for the wealthiest amongst us. He's willing to give those tax breaks to the wealthiest. He's willing to say, bust those unions up, do whatever. What we're saying is the economy works best when it works for all of us. And so a paid family medical leave program, and I will tell you, go to the families or go to the businesses and ask them. As far as childcare on this, you have to take it at both the supply and the demand side. You can't expect the most important people in our lives to take either our children or our parents to get paid the least amount of money. And we have to make it easier for folks to be able to get into that business and then to make sure that folks are able to pay for that. We were able to do it in Minnesota, and I'm still telling you this. We were listed as the best state. We're still in crisis on this. A federal program of paid family and medical leave and help with this will enhance our workforce, enhance our families, and make it easier to have the children that you want.
Governor, your time is up. Senator, do you support a national paid leave program? And if so, for how long should employers be mandated to pay their employees while they are home taking care of their newborn? You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, first of all, Margaret, a number of my Republican colleagues and some Democrats, too, have worked on this issue. And I think there is a bipartisan solution here because a lot of us care about this issue. I mean, look, I speak from this very personally because I'm married to a beautiful woman who is an incredible mother to our 3 beautiful kids, but is also a very, very brilliant corporate litigator. And I'm so proud of her. But being a working mom, even for somebody with all of the advantages of my wife, is extraordinarily difficult. And it's not just difficult from a policy perspective. She actually had access to paid family leave because she worked for a bigger company. But the cultural pressure on young families and especially young women, I think makes it really hard for people to choose the family model they want. A lot of young women would like to go back to work immediately. Some would like to spend a little time home with the kids. Some would like to spend longer at home with the kids. We should have a family care model that makes choice possible. And I think this is a very important substantive difference between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris's approach. I mean, look, if you look at the federal programs that we have that support paid family leave right now, the Community Development Block Grant, and there's another block grant program that spends a lot of money from the federal government. These programs only go to one kind of child care model. Let's say you'd like your church maybe to help you out with child care. Maybe you live in a rural area or an urban area and you'd like to get together with families in your neighborhood to provide child care in the way that makes the most sense. You don't get access to any of these federal monies. We want to promote choice in how we deliver family care and how we promote child care because, look, it is unacceptable. And, you know, of course, Tim and I have been on the campaign trail a lot the past 7 or 8 weeks. And one of the biggest complaints I hear from young families is people who feel like they don't have options, like they're choosing between going to work or taking care for their kids. That is an incredible burden to put on American families. We're the only country that does it. I think we could do a heck of a lot better.
I have
Senator,
to be honest.
Thank you. You have also.
That was like 30 seconds.
But I have to be honest. If I'm looking at both of them, like, hold on, we'll go back real quick. Hold on. Like, look at these two. Like, this guy looks like he might cry. This one, I'm gonna be real. That's a good looking motherfucker.
Yeah, but he didn't fucking say shit just then. He didn't fucking say anything.
One kind of child care model. Let's say you'd like your church maybe to help you out with child care. Maybe you live in a rural area or an urban area and you'd like to get together with families in your neighborhood to provide child care in the way that makes the most sense. You don't get access to any of these federal monies. We want to promote choice in how we deliver family care and how we promote child care because, look, it is unacceptable. And you know, of course, Tim and I have been on the campaign trail a lot the past 7 or 8 weeks.
This is what these things do.
Jump scare.
There's one, though, that this one is troubling to me, and I say that because I think we need to tell the story. Donald Trump refused to acknowledge this. And the fact is that I don't think we can be the frog in the pot and let the boiling water go up. He was very clear. I mean, he lost this election, and he said he didn't. 140 police officers were beaten at the Capitol that day.
They were not.
Some with the American flag, several later died. And it wasn't just in there.
Oh
in
my God, it's so
Minnesota,
January
a group
6th.
gathered on the state capitol grounds in St. Paul and said, we're marching to the governor's residence and there may be casualties. The only person there was my son and his dog, who was rushed out crying by state police.
Wow.
That issue, and Mike Pence standing there as they were chanting.
You let
"Hang
half
Mike
your
Pence."
city be
Mike Pence
taken
made the
over
right
by
decision.
random
So,
citizens.
Senator, it was adjudicated over and over and over.
Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I worked with kids long enough to know, and I said as a football coach, sometimes you really want to win, but the democracy is bigger than winning an election. You shake hands, and then you try and do everything you can to help the other side win.
No,
that's,
you
that's
don't.
what
No,
was
you
at
don't.
stake here.
No, you don't.
No,
You don't do that. Who does that in football? I played football. Who the fuck says, oh, we're not going to win, do everything we can to help the other side win? Shut up.
The thing I'm most concerned about is the idea that imprisoning your political opponents, already laying the groundwork.
Wait, are we? Oh, wait, hold on. Wait. Did the Democrat
I'm gonna throw up.
VP
I'm gonna throw
just bring up trying to imprison your political opponents? Did that just happen? Did he bring that up like that was something Trump is doing?
I'm gonna vomit.
There is no fucking way. There's no fucking way that just happened. There's no fucking way that just happened. I'm going back. I got to go back because here's the thing.
No. He said that.
I feel like I must have misunderstood.
No.
I must have misunderstood Tim Walz, because if he's going to bring up trying to imprison your political fucking opponent, oh my God, did he just bring that up? I'm going back. I'm going to give him a chance.
Are these noise canceling? Because I need to fucking put these on every time that piece of shit.
Behind a basic American First Amendment principle to life.
Governor?
Well, I've enjoyed tonight's debate, and I think there was a lot of commonality here, and I'm sympathetic to misspeaking on things, and I think I might have with the senator.
Even if every governor
Said is hiring and building
of things, I think we need to be open to making the case. But the issue here is, the question you asked is, you're not going to pay for it with these tariffs. That's just adding another $4,000 on the family and taking
American families. We're the only country that does it. I think we could do a heck of a lot better.
Senator, thank you. You have also said, Senator Vance, many things about the American family. The Federal Reserve says parents will spend
And undercut the wages of.
promise. Is that realistic?
Well, if these members of Congress are listening to anybody, I can tell you, and this is the biggest issue. Everybody listening tonight knows. I mean, I'm sure they were shocked to hear it's not that expensive. And let's censorship.
Right.
Censorship is book
I'm going to have to look.
We've seen that. We've seen that brought up. I just think for everyone tonight, and I'm going to thank Senator Vance. I think this is the conversation they want to hear. And I think there's a lot of agreement. But this is one that we are miles apart on. This was a threat to our democracy in a way that we had not seen. And it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
Yes, that is the best fucking response. Well done, JD. Because he asked that question, I was like, JD, don't fold on this. And this was the best fucking answer he could have given.
I don't like
That is a damning non-answer.
It's a damning non-answer for you to not talk about censorship. Obviously, Donald Trump and I think that there were problems in 2020. We've talked about it. I'm happy to talk about it further. But you guys attack us for not believing in democracy. The most sacred right under the United States democracy is the First Amendment. You yourself have said, reject censorship. Let's the 2020.
Don't understand. I will tell you this, that when this is over, we need to shake hands this election, and the winner needs to be the winner. This has got to stop. It's tearing our country apart.
Margaret?
Wait, no.
Senator Vance, did you want to respond to
Capitol grounds.
Especially given that I was raised peacefully in the public square. And
Senator Vance, you have said you would not have certified.
Senator, the governor does have the floor for 1 minute to
Please.
respond to you.
Yeah, well, I don't run Facebook. What I do know is I see a candidate out there who refused, and now again, and this, I'm pretty shocked by this, he lost the election. This is not a debate. It's not anything anywhere other than in Donald Trump's world. Because look, when Mike Pence made that decision to certify that election, that's why Mike Pence isn't on this stage. What I'm concerned about is, where is the firewall with Donald Trump? Where is the firewall if he knows he could do anything, including taking an election, and his vice president's not going to stand to it? That's what we're asking you, America. Will you stand up? Will you keep your oath of office, even if the president doesn't? And I think Kamala Harris would agree. She wouldn't have picked me if she didn't think I would do that, because of course that's what we would do. So America, I think you've got a really clear choice on this election of who's going to honor that democracy and who's going to honor Donald Trump.
Governor, your time is up. Thank you, gentlemen. We will be right back with both of our candidates. The CBS News Vice President.
He said that fucking bullshit.
All right, wait. We got to try to find. Hold on. You don't want me to find it.
Yeah, we did see. All right, here.
I feel like this is where it is.
Kamala Harris's policies, make housing affordable, make groceries affordable, and that's what we're focused on. But I want to answer your question because you did ask it. Look, what President Trump has said is that there were problems in 2020, and my own belief is that we should fight about those issues, debate those issues peacefully. I believe that we actually do have a threat to balancing their fellow citizens, fellow Americanship, and
do everything you can to help the other side win. That's people hear that.
This has been going on for a long time for Democratic leaders to.
The thing I'm most concerned about is the idea that imprisoning your political opponents.
That was the one. That was, he did say that. Oh my God, he actually said that. That is offensive to him, is imprisoning your political opponents. That's offensive to you, Tim. Hey, I got something to tell you about your people. Fucking douche.
Already laying the groundwork for people not accepting this. And a president's words matter. This is at the ballot box, shaking.
For Democratic, this has been going on for a long time. He'll have my best wishes, and he'll have. This has been going on. Fully gave.
But to deny what happened on January 6th, the first time in American history,
election, I'm on board. But if we want to say, as Tim Walz is saying, that
this was a threat to our democracy in a way that we had not seen. And it manifested itself.
It's a damning non-answer for you to not talk about censorship. It's a damning.
We've seen that. We've seen that brought up.
Here we go.
I just think for everyone tonight, and I'm going to thank Senator Vance. I think this is the conversation they want to hear. And I think there's a lot of agreement. But this is one that we are miles apart on. This was a threat to our democracy in a way that we had not seen. And it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
It's a damning non-answer for you to not talk about censorship. Obviously.
Didn't 40 plus people die during the 2020 protest that was incited and pushed by Democrats, where cops were ambushed and killed and government buildings were overtaken for weeks, but no January 6th bad? Zeke, you're 100% right, brother.
I had to point out your comment, Zeke, because
you're 100%. Zeke,
100%.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. 100% right about that.
Not to mention all the fucking nonstop rioting.
Donald Trump and I think that there were problems in 2020. We've talked about it. I'm happy to talk about it.
Look at his face. This is a guy who thought he had like a canned thing to say. He's like, I got him. And then JD Vance fucking took him. Look at him. Now he's like, oh, well, shit. fuck. Like,
He frowns better than
further, but you guys attack us for not believing in democracy. The most sacred right under the United States democracy is the First Amendment. You yourself have said there's no First Amendment right to misinformation. Kamala Harris wants to use the
threatening or
power
hate
of
speech.
government and big tech to silence people from speaking their minds. That is a threat to democracy that will long outlive this present political moment. I would like Democrats and Republicans to both reject censorship. Let's persuade one another. Let's argue about ideas, and then let's come together afterwards.
You can't.
I
won
love
the
it.
virtual coin toss and elected to go last. So, Governor Walz, you are first. You have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you, Senator Vance. Thank you to CBS News. And most importantly,
What's up, Rain?
thank you to all of you. If you're still up and the folks who miss Dancing with Our Stars, I appreciate it. But look, the support of the
missed Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, because that's what he watches at night.
Who the goddamn fuck cares about that shit?
democracy matters. It matters that you're here. And I'm as surprised as anybody of this coalition that Kamala Harris has built, from Bernie Sanders to Dick Cheney to Taylor Swift, and a whole bunch of.
Bro, here's the thing. Guys, I'm going to be real with you. I'm 40. And if you had told me back in like 2003 that Democrats would be excited about the fact that Dick Cheney supports them, I would have told you were full of shit, because I would have expected Dick Cheney to be in prison because he's a war criminal.
Somebody said that Dancing with the Stars was on yesterday.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, he doesn't even know that. But bro, let's be real. Like, I never thought in my wildest fucking dreams that Democrats would start embracing Dick Cheney. Like some of you who are too young to remember,
I don't know what.
She's 10 years younger than me.
I'm
She doesn't
9 years.
She doesn't understand the evil that Dick Cheney was.
But I understand.
Like, he was
Taylor Swift.
like Dick Cheney was Dick Cheney may have been the worst fucking person to have ever been part of our federal government. Like, he was a war criminal, and like, people described him as evil, and nobody argued against it because he is that fucking bad. Like, here's the thing. Anybody who looks at the endorsement of Dick Cheney as a good thing, you have to be either one, a fucking idiot, or two, too young to recognize how fucking horrible that person was. Dick Cheney, like I can't even put it into words how bad that person was. Dick Cheney is probably the worst person since Benedict Arnold
So what did he say
to be
about,
part of our United States government.
What did he say about Dick Cheney?
He said, well, we have the endorsement of everyone from this person to Dick Cheney to Taylor Swift. And it was like, the fact that you think the endorsement of Dick Cheney is a good thing.
Okay.
Like, that'd be like somebody running for office in Germany and going, we have the endorsement of Angela Merkel, Hitler, and this. And then people just going, oh, well, Hitler supports them. Because that's how fucking terrible Dick Cheney was.
Okay, but not only Dick Cheney, but he also acts like Taylor Swift.
No, but here's the thing.
Knows
Taylor Swift, big celebrity. I get it.
Right, but he's acting like Taylor Swift knows what the fuck normal people go through.
No, but exactly what Zeke said. A warmonger and a pop star is what he's celebrating. But like, here's the thing. Being supported by Taylor Swift, minus the fact that her entire career is founded on choosing the wrong man, the fact that you would celebrate like I said, this is legitimately like Germany going, oh, we got Angela Merkel and we got Hitler and this person. And it would be like, what? Like, why are you celebrating the endorsement of one of the worst people to ever be a part of the United States government.
Okay, right.
It's
right.
like I could show you stuff to show you how awful
No,
Dick
I get
Cheney
it. I get it.
was.
Right. But not only that, he's acting like a fucking multi-billionaire pop star knows
Well, she's dealing
what
with this.
normal people deal with.
He did. He shot a man, his friend, in the face in front of a crowd of people and walked it off.
Okay, but not only that, I do know what Taylor Swift is.
Here's the thing. The
and
best.
I know that she doesn't fucking know what I go through on a daily basis.
The least of,
she's a multi-billionaire. Why the fuck would I
the
care what
least
she has to
offensive
talk about?
thing, Taylor, the least offensive thing Dick Cheney did, the least offensive thing was shoot his friend in the fucking face.
Okay, well,
that was the least offensive thing.
I don't know about Dick Cheney, but I do know that Taylor
Just
Swift,
imagine if Hitler had been part.
missing my point.
Just imagine if Hitler had been part of the U.S. government, and he had said, "Well, we got the endorsement of this Hitler and Taylor Swift."
Well, it's honestly, it's not surprising because they fucking think that those people
matter.
And can I say retard?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And retards all around everywhere just fucking look at his face and they're like blue no matter who, and they're like, oh yeah, Taylor Swift, Hitler, Dick Cheney, yeah.
So to folks in between there. And they don't all agree on everything, but they are truly optimistic people. They believe in a positive future of this country and one where our politics can be better than it is.
Right now.
And I have to tell you, that better than it is the sense of optimism that there can be an opportunity economy that works for everyone, not just to get by, but to get ahead. And the idea that freedom really means something. Not the freedom of government to be in your bedroom or exam room, but the freedom for you to make choices about yourself. Now, look, we all know who Donald Trump is. He's told us, and as Maya Angelou said, believe him when he told you that. His first inaugural address talked about American carnage. And then he spent 4 years trying to maybe do that. Senator Vance tonight made it clear he will stand with Donald Trump's agenda. He will continue to push down that road. Excuse me. Kamala Harris gives us a different option. Now, I'll have to tell you, I'm going to be careful about the quotes, but there's one that Senator Vance said that does resonate with me. He said, Donald Trump makes the people I care about afraid. A lot of America feels that way. We don't need to be afraid. Franklin Roosevelt was right. All we have to fear is fear itself. Kamala Harris is bringing us a new way forward. She's bringing us a politics of joy. She's bringing real solutions for the middle class, and she's centering you at the heart of that. All the while asking everyone, join this movement, make your voices heard. Let's look for a new day where everybody gets that opportunity and everybody gets a chance to thrive. I humbly ask for your vote on November 5th for Kamala Harris.
Governor Walz, thank you. Senator Vance, your closing statement.
Gonna get it.
Well, I want to thank Governor Walz, you folks at CBS, and of course the American people for tuning in this evening. And one of the issues we didn't talk about was energy. And I remember when I was being raised by my grandmother, when she didn't have enough money to turn on the heat some nights because Ohio gets pretty cold at night and because money was often very tight. And I believe, as a person who wants to be your next vice president, that we are a rich and prosperous enough country where every American, whether they're rich or poor, ought to be able to turn on their heat in the middle of a cold winter night. That's gotten more difficult thanks to Kamala Harris's energy policies.
How?
I believe that whether you're rich or poor, you ought to be able to afford a nice meal for your family. That's gotten harder because of Kamala Harris's policies.
How?
I believe that whether you're rich or poor, you ought to be able to afford to buy a house. You ought to be able to live in safe neighborhoods. You ought to not have your communities flooded with fentanyl. And that, too, has gotten harder with because of Kamala Harris's policies. Now, I've been in politics long enough to do what Kamala Harris does when she stands before the American people and says that on day one, she's going to work on all these challenges I just listed. She's been the vice president for 3.5 years. Day one was 1,400 days ago, and her policies have made these problems worse.
Yep.
Now, I believe that we have the most beautiful country in the world. I meet people on the campaign trail who can't afford food, but have the grace and generosity to ask me how I'm doing and to tell me they're praying for my family. What that has taught me is that we have the greatest country, the most beautiful country, the most incredible people anywhere in the world. But they're not going to be able to achieve their full dreams with the broken leadership that we have in Washington. They're not going to be able to live their American dream if we do the same thing that we've been doing for the last 3.5 years. We need change. We need a new direction. We need a president who has already done this once before and did it well. Please vote for Donald Trump. And whether you vote for me or vote for Tim Walz, I just want to say I'm so proud to be doing this, and I'm rooting for you. God bless you, and good night.
Senator Vance, thank you. And thank you both for participating in the only vice presidential debate of this election cycle. I'm Margaret Brennan.
And I'm Norah O'Donnell. And a reminder, there are just 35 days until Election Day. Please get out and vote. And for all of us here at CBS News.
Fuck off. Nobody cares.
Or you could just not vote.
Now here we go. So, like, let's be real. Vance dominated that shit. Like, Vance crushed him. Like, that wasn't even a fucking close debate. Half his arguments were Donald Trump's bad. But I'll tell you what, we did get some great fucking sound bites. We got some phenomenal fucking sound bites. Let's be real. Hold on, wait. Let me pause this here real quick. Something I want to show y'all. Let me just say, if you're gonna vote on
the wiki shit about Dick Cheney is all good.
If you're gonna vote on who is a better guy, look at his wife. Like, she's fine as shit.
Oh my God, he's way younger. You can't compare that. They're old.
He's not way younger.
How much? He's obviously
look at Tim Walz's age.
Do you not know it?
I don't know it off the top of my head. But let's be real.
$60.
Okay. Do you think that she is going to look like her in 20 years? JD's 40.
Yeah.
Do you think that she is going to look like her in 20 years?
I mean, probably. Yeah.
She gonna look.
You can't compare it. That's 20 fucking
This
years.
This is a Mr. Potato Head woman.
That's 20 fucking years.
I'm sorry. She's fine. He's got
20 years younger than her. You can't compare that.
Look, here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you right now.
If you
ever wear this outfit, I divorce you.
Okay, well, I won't do that.
If you ever wear a pantsuit, if you ever wear like a skirt suit, fucking like Mechanicus.
What do you want me to wear when I'm 60?
Not this.
I'm fucking 60. I'm not gonna wear a fucking skin tight dress. I'm gonna be.
You can.
You're not gonna. And shit.
I'm sorry. Don't look like Hillary Clinton with a fucking bob haircut.
Oh, I will never have.
Bob. This bitch is gonna ask somebody who the manager is.
I will never have a bob.
This bitch is asking somebody who the fucking manager is.
Okay, but you can't compare the.
She's
20 years younger than her.
The manager's trying to hit on her. She's wondering whether or not she can get a fucking discount. She's eating dinner at 5 p.m. and being mad that Walmart won't give her $5 back because she's been a loyal member.
She's also 60. She's 60 years old. She's old.
How old's Tim Walz's wife? I mean, look it up. How old's Tim Walz's wife?
Well, I just imagine she's 60.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 40. You're 31. Gwen Walz.
She was born in 1966.
1966. So just click on it real quick. It'll tell you her fucking age.
It just says
scroll down. It'll tell you her age.
58. She's 58.
She's 58. Yeah, she looks every bit of 70. Look at this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not voting for a man who can't pull a hot chick.
He's fucking 60.
That's his fault.
You can't.
And he's poor.
And she is 38.
Yes. Yes, because Tim Walz knows better than to pull a 40-year-old chick at 40.
What the fuck?
And she's gorgeous.
She's 20 years younger than that bitch. You can't fucking compare the two.
Yes, she's hot.
You can't, why the fuck are you trying to compare the two?
I'm sorry,
people?
but I will judge men by like whether or not they're a Hillary Clinton fucking pantsuit or a beautiful woman.
Okay, she wore the wrong suit, but like
look at her. She barely made it to her husband.
And you can't even tell what she looks like.
Yes, you can. You can tell she's a frumpy piece of shit.
Yeah, but we can't tell.
I
what
need
JD
my
Vance's wife
I
looks
need
like.
my VP to be able to pull hot chicks. That's how you do negotiation. If you're not capable of pulling hot chicks, you don't get to be fucking VP.
I'm just saying you cannot compare a fucking 38-year-old
Look at her.
woman to a fucking
He's
60-year-old
holding her
woman.
up. He's holding her up. She
Oh
almost fell
no,
over.
shut the fuck
He
up.
almost
Shut the fuck up.
She literally like leaned, like that's the biggest step she took in her life.
This debate is better than the VP debate.
Like, let's be real. Like,
I'm gonna judge her on her haircut.
And
her,
here's
her
the difference. This man is a Marine. This man is a National Guard bitch ass motherfucker.
Okay.
That's why he gets the ugly wife with the bob and he gets the hot chick.
She's fucking 20 years younger.
Damn right she is. And that's what I want for my VP. I want my VP pulling hot chicks. Hot ethnic chicks. I don't want my fucking VP marrying a Hillary Clinton clone that can't go up large stairs.
Okay, well, I'm also going to look old when I'm 60.
That's fine.
60?
That's fine. At that point, I'll be 70.
You can have great grandkids by the time you're fucking
I'll be
60.
70. Look at her. She just took her Geritol. She's ready to go to bed.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. It's some shit old people
You
take.
don't even know what that is.
Shit old people take. She's like, look, I got my Centrum Silver. I got to get out of here. I'm ready to go to bed. Meanwhile, JD and his wife are going to go home and fuck.
Okay, I smell a rancid fart. I think Hootie just ripped the fucking
JD and his wife are going to go home and fuck. Those two are going to go home and play fucking Parcheesi.
I'm sorry, I'm making this face because my dog just farted.
They're
They're going to play Parcheesi. I love Parcheesi. And I love fucking.
That's why JD should be our VP.
¿Por qué no los dos?
Vance did miss, but Vance got fucked a bunch because he was ready to respond like to what Tim said, and they would ask him like this long-winded question to distract him because he'd be sitting there like this, like, and then they'd go, Senator, and then he would ask him this long fucking question. He would get lost in that, but he was ready to wreck that motherfucker for real. She looks like Nancy Pelosi. Like, I'm sorry, Tim. Get hotter women and we'll vote for you, but you don't pull hot chicks.
He is fucking 60 years old.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're saying 60-year-olds don't pull hot chicks?
Yeah.
60-year-old successful rich guys don't pull hot chicks?
How long have they been? They've
Donald
probably
Trump,
been married. They've probably
Donald
been
Trump,
married for a long
Donald
time.
Trump pulled Melania. She's a fucking worldwide fucking model.
Well, fucking Walls is not as rich as Trump.
No, because he's a bitch. He's not successful. When you try to have your entire life be successful in the public sector, you don't do shit.
That's fine, but you can't compare the two. It's not fair.
It is fair.
The conditions are not equal.
It is fair. The people, look, I'll put it this way. Tim, I'm sorry you're a bitch ass dude and you couldn't pull a hot chick. That's on you. Stop dating old bitches. Just saying.
Okay. And if he had a 20 years his junior wife, you'd be like, you're weird.
Absolutely
you're
not.
a
I'd be
pedo.
like, get it, dog. Do your thing.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, you would.
No, you wouldn't.
The same way I celebrate the
You
fact
would judge him if he
the
had a
same-
wife
the
same
same-
age
no,
as JD
the
Vance's
same
wife.
the
Yes,
same
you
way
would.
no, the same way I celebrate the fact that Trump has the most gorgeous first lady to have ever been a first lady.
That's true.
Like
That's true.
his
She's
wife,
hot as fuck.
Trump's wife, is the hottest first lady to have ever been first lady.
She's old, but she's hot.
She's younger than Trump, and she's also smoking hot.
Trump is
Even
old
at
as
her age,
fucking shit.
even at her age, she is smoking hot. And I'll
That's
tell you
what I
this:
just said.
in 20 years, JD Vance's wife is still gonna be hot. It's not my fault that Tim Walz married a fucking troll. I didn't have control over that. Tim Walz married a troll. That was his choice. It's not my fault she like demands gold or a riddle underneath the bridge. That's not my fault.
Damn.
Like Tim's wife literally demands gold or a fucking riddle every day beneath the bridge. It's not my fault that she's fucking ugly.
Damn. That
Like,
was harsh.
goddamn, you're gonna make it on me.
That was harsh. That was fucked up. You
That
still can't compare this.
She talks dirty. She says, fee, fi, fo, fum.
That's literally
fuck
like
that.
that's literally like comparing JD Vance his look to Tim Walz.
You have to compare their look because you need swag. To be the VP, you need swag.
That's not fair. They're like 25 years.
That's his,
different.
that he should have ran 20 years ago. I'm sorry, but I want my VP to have swag. I want him to walk around like the biggest dick in the room. I want his wife to show up, look at the French president's wife and be like, bitch, you wish you could. Like, that's what I want. I want the swag. Like, I know when Melania walks into a room, I don't care what world leader. I don't pick a fucking world leader out there. Regardless of the world leader, their wife is going, damn, fuck, I'd fuck her. Like that, every world leader's wife would fuck Melania.
Well, you know I don't like JD Vance. So.
But JD walked in there with that crisp cut on his beard. He walked in there with that, like, so you guys see I let a little hair grow here. JD walked in with that crisp cut. He walked in, he was like, I'm doing this, not for the debate. I'm doing this because me and my girl fucking tonight. That's what he did because he's a gangster like that. He's a thug like that. He was raised by a drug addict mom, sent to his grandmother, came out and still ended up as the VP with a hot ass bitch as his fucking wife.
Calm
Fuck
down.
all y'all.
Calm down.
Like, fuck all that. And exactly, Lil Ice. JD got hair on his motherfucking head. You need hair on your motherfucking head. Let me just tell you right now.
Fucking old.
Let me just tell you right now that here's the thing.
He's old.
Here's the thing. If you don't start going,
He's old.
if you don't start going bald by 35, you're never going bald.
But
Here's the thing.
he does need to shave this.
Then here's the thing. Tim Walz has bad genetics and his family shouldn't carry on in this country.
Tim Walz has the fucking cul-de-sac hair. And when you start getting the cul-de-sac, you just need to shave
Cut
it.
Cut it. Don't be a bitch. Don't try to save it.
You just need to go bald.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Yeah,
but he's
don't
not.
fucking have a cul-de-sac.
But he's not worried about it because his wife is ugly. You don't worry about what you look like when your wife is ugly.
That's mean.
No, I got tons of friends that married ugly bitches. And they don't care. They do whatever they want because they married an ugly woman.
It's fucking rude.
If you marry ugly people, you get to do what you want. It's the way it works. Some people marry ugly people because they think less of themselves.
Is that why you married
And
me?
you know what I don't want in a VP? I don't want a VP who thinks less of himself.
Is that why you married me? So
No,
you can do what
because
you want?
no, you're hot. If I was engaged to an ugly bitch, I wouldn't be saying this. Like if she was sitting here and she was 300 pounds with a double chin and no fucking teeth, I wouldn't be able to talk this shit. I'd be like, yo, oh my God. Like, yo, Tim is doing his thing. But here's the thing that successful men do. They get engaged and marry hot bitches. That's the way it fucking works. You call that the Costanza. Exactly.
All right, this is disgusting. Why do you have that on your
Because it was on my leg last night. I was bleeding.
He literally has a fucking towel, like a paper towel.
I cut my leg last
full of
night. It was
blood
bleeding.
just sitting here
And
on
I
the
didn't
fuck-
want to go anywhere. So I just got a paper towel and put it on there until it stopped bleeding.
Why didn't you ask me for help? I have
You know,
Band-Aids.
because you were asleep when my leg was bleeding.
Oh.
You know what Tim Walz would have done? He would have called 911 because he's a bitch motherfucker that marries an ugly woman.
That was. You're right, babe. You're right.
See? See, she
Yeah.
likes being married to this handsome stud.
Is that a Michael Myers emoji?
No, that is definitely not.
Well, damn, because I was
It's
gonna
definitely
be
not a
real
Michael
happy.
Myers. See, here's the thing. Let me let y'all know. No lives matter. Fuck all your lives. No lives matter.
None of them. None of
What
them.
I'm hearing is that Joe will be running for office at some point. He landed Emily, and at 10 to 20 years from now, when Joe is 50, 60 on his stage, some other influencer in that time will be commenting on their same thing about Joe being in there, dude. Exactly. Because when I'm on stage, I'll be like, yo, still fucking hot. Look at my opponent with his ugly pantsuit wearing bitch that he's got.
Right, I think I got the shirt on Temu, by the way.
Yeah, that's the way it works. Like, I don't play that fucking game. Don't marry ugly people if you want to be successful. Sorry. Tim Walz married an ugly bitch. It's his fault. I'm sorry. It could be puppy love. They were in love or young. I'm sorry. Have higher standards, motherfucker.
I bet they met in the first grade and they've been in love for their whole lives.
Yeah, I'll bet his dick hasn't grown since then. Yep, that's what it works. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Let me just tell you right now that if you married somebody you met in elementary school, raise your standards, bitch. Raise your fucking standards. Because if you think out of 8 billion people in the world, 8 billion people in the world, that you met the perfect person for you and they happen to be in the same zip code, the same area code, and the same school as you, raise your fucking standards, bitch. No, it's just that what are the odds that, like, oh my God, there's 8 billion people on this earth. You know what happened? God put the person who was meant for me in the 4,000 people I ever met in my entire fucking childhood.
IYKYK.
Like, you don't. Raise your fucking standards. Try traveling. Fuck a French chick. You'll leave her. For the love of God. Here's the thing. Here's the benefit to her. I have been all over the world. I've lived in Paris. I've been to Rome. I've been all over this fucking world. And when I met her, she was so fucking amazing, so spectacular, so unique as a person that I was like, I must marry her.
I'm just a weird bitch.
She is a weird bitch. But but that's the simple thing is that, like, I have been all over the world. I waited until I was 39 and had explored 90% of this fucking planet.
You've never been to Africa?
I have.
I thought you said you haven't.
I've fucking killed people in Africa.
Don't say that.
I've shot Africans.
Don't say that.
Well, because they shoot at me first.
Well, I thought you said you hadn't been there.
No, I
Australia. It's Australia.
I have been to Australia. I haven't been to Asia.
All right, fine.
But anyway, so I've been to
it was one of the A
I've been to
continents.
90% of this fucking
It was one of
planet.
the A continents.
And I married, and I'm going to marry her because she is that amazing. Now, Tim Walz, I feel like he explored half of Minneapolis and said, I'm going to settle for the chick who blew me better.
No, that's just his sister.
Emily, for being hot, you have to have your quirks. Exactly.
I don't understand what that means, but
that's where
I think it's a compliment.
But that's where she can feel secure that I'm not gonna like explore the world and find something better. I've already explored the fucking world. This is what I want.
Even if you hadn't explored the world,
we're not married.
You ain't gonna
yet.
find no bitch like me.
We haven't married yet because she wants us to get married in this fucking most podunk fucking yokel area of the country that, you know, I'm not telling them where. But it's like this. She wants us to get married in this very country ass fucking place.
It's so that my grandparents can come.
They can
extremely
come. They cannot
old.
travel more than 150 feet from their home.
They're extremely old.
So that we have to get married there. So everybody's got to fly into this fucking middle of fucking nowhere. Just imagine like the OK Corral. That's where we're flying into. You know, like Wyatt Earp is going to marry us. It's fine. And we're like, but the blessings, the way we got to go, we got a shootout over here. Like, that's where we're getting married.
Hey, do you take this bitch to be your lovely wedding, bitch, or not?
Like, literally at the wedding, I have to say, I'm your huckleberry. Like, that's what I got to do.
Sacrifices must be
Yeah,
made.
sacrifices. We got to go out to the country. Like, literally, our wedding will have no cell phone signal.
Hey, okay, that's a bit much. You definitely get cell phone signal.
You don't. Your grandparents have Wi-Fi.
How else are the meth dealers gonna fucking deal their meth?
I imagine your meth dealers write everything down on parchment. That's where you live, is on fucking. They're still writing shit with a stylus on fucking, you know, like papyrus.
Where we're getting married is not where I live.
No,
okay?
we're
about an hour and a half away.
We're getting married near a prison, by the way.
Stop.
You're
giving people ideas. Stop.
I'm sorry, hold on. I said prison. Do you guys have any idea where that is in the US? Does that help you figure it out that we're getting married by a prison?
It's not in Virginia, I'll tell you that.
Why would you specify?
Well, I just thought that maybe if I said that, they wouldn't think it was in Virginia.
Here's the thing.
It's actually literally not in Virginia.
No idea. No worries.
It's actually
Exactly.
literally not in Virginia.
What the fuck does a meth dealer have to remember? Did he pay or didn't he pay? Keep the bag sealed. Don't try your own supply. It's 3 rules. I love she's inventing a system for meth dealers. I love it.
They've got to have a phone to be like, pay me, bitch, or whatever. I don't fucking, I don't know.
A prison
Fucking know.
A prison with meth around. I have 12 guesses all in Bama.
It's not Virginia.
It's not Canada either.
Just marry her right now.
I can't.
We might end up just going to Vegas and doing it and then having a ceremony there.
For real.
¿Por qué no?
Because I want to go to Vegas for my birthday, which is in November. I want to go to Vegas for my birthday.
So let's just get married and fucking stop saying not Virginia.
I feel like CDG is from Virginia. If you're from Virginia, we're not shitting on it. We're not saying that. I'll tell you right now.
The first fucking place that popped into my head.
I will tell you right now, Virginia is much better than where we're getting married.
It was the first place that popped into my head.
All right, Mark. Have a good night, man.
Bye, Mark.
No, I feel like
it's the first place that popped into my head. I'm not saying it's anything. There's anything bad about it.
If you marry in Vegas, I will show up. Sounds good. Can you refill this? There you go. This is how I get rid of her. I just drink enough of my drink to send her off to do her job. See, the best part is at some point, guys, I want you to know she's going to start streaming soon. Let me give me a thumbs up if you. So she wants to start streaming. She wants to do World of Warcraft, Baldur's Gate, and like horror games. She wants to start streaming them on Twitch and YouTube and X. She wants to start streaming. How many people would follow that? Oh, sweet Jesus. She wants to show you her headphones. She's really excited about this. She wanted to start streaming, so I set her up with I'll put it this way. Guys, she wants to start streaming. For those of you that understand computers, I got her, hold on. I got her a computer with an Ultra 9.
I'm not holding on.
I got her an Ultra 9, a 4090, 1 terabyte gangster ass gaming computer. She'll be fine. This is her headphones. Oh my Lord.
Wait, say something.
Wait, where's your headphones?
I can't fucking hear anything.
Where's your because they're noise canceling.
I can't hear anything.
They're noise canceling. Crazy. You have noise canceling headphones. Of course you can't hear anything.
But I'm gonna wear my hair in pigtails, so it'll be cute.
She's gonna wear pigtails.
I can't fucking hear shit.
No, not an i9, an Ultra 9, which is the top i9 you can buy.
This is like the loudest shit.
Yes, because it's noise canceling headphones. I don't know what I would do. You see, corgis would watch you. No, here's the thing. She's not going to download COD.
That's trippy as shit.
She's gonna play World of Warcraft, Baldur's Gate,
Baldur's Gate, and
horror games.
The scary games.
Scary games. I won't play scary games.
Oh, I already got makeup all over that. Great.
It's your headphones. Stop worrying about it. They're going to be on your head.
¿Está para mí?
I don't know what the fuck you just said.
Oh, I said.
No, don't play COD. Where's my drink?
I said that for me. Well, I didn't make it.
You're over here
yet.
trying to be cool about your streaming.
I didn't make it yet.
See, I knew this was going to happen. I'm going to make her a streamer, and then she just ignores my drinks. That's what I got to deal with. I lost my bartender. I wish you would. Hold on, wait. I got to lean this in because my screen starts to go blue. There we go. Look, I don't play horror games. Y'all would lose all respect for me if I played horror games because I would turn into a bitch. Because I would scream. I'm like, ah! You would be like, did he just come? Like, that's what would happen. Y'all would see me play a horror game and you'd be like, did he just come? You'd be like, did he just finish? Be like, no. Do you, Joe, take this woman? Joe, I'm your Huckleberry. Exactly. Exactly, Shizzlator. Phasmophobia? Wait, what's Phasmophobia? Do I need to download this game? Hold on. Let me see. Well, let's see. Let me see. Phasmophobia. Oh, I can buy it on Steam. Ooh. All right, I'm buying it. I'm buying it right now. I'm buying it right now. Hold on, I'm buying it right now. God damn it, they just sent something to my Gmail. Hold on, got to put in my security code. I got to agree to the terms. Hold on. All right, Phasmophobia. There we go. Bought.
Your Highness.
Thank you, ma'am.
Did you get off your stream?
No, I'm still on it.
Oh.
They told me to add this horror game.
Wait, for me to play?
No, they're telling me to add it. She's peeing.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck?
Wait, let me see. Bruh. The dog is on my chair. Will you get him to go away?
That's
mean.
your dog.
He's mean.
That's your dog.
All right, I'm just gonna like sit down and see if he'll move. Oh, there he goes. He moved. Okay, cool. What do they see right now?
They can see us.
Well, can they see what you're doing? Let me see how my video is doing. I got some comments on it. But
Let's see here. Hold on. I'm bringing up
very
Steam.
well.
I want to make sure we got.
God.
We can play
Oh,
this horror game together.
Jesus Christ on the motorbike. Wait, I can play? You gonna stream the game right now?
Hold on.
But let me play it.
Woman, chill.
Let me play it. I need practice.
You hear my, because if you know, I like you. Yes, I am 40. I'm waiting for Steam to load.
It's
I
got
wanna see.
947 likes already.
What does?
The the video I just posted on my TikTok of the petty like insults.
Right.
I hope you eat hair. Or I hope you swallow hair.
Right.
And I hope you get a sunburn on your eyeballs. And I hope a bird shits on your elbow.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes.
Oh my God, they keep sending me these fucking codes. Hold on. GBKB. There we go. We'll see.
Chef said, if I said I've never flipped my boxers, I'd be lying. So I said, you look like you turn your boxers inside out and wear them again.
I've never done that.
I said, wait, hold on.
Wait, chat, have y'all done that? Where your
Hold on,
boxers
hold on.
are dirty and you flip them and now they're clean?
We did a stupid insult video and I said, what'd I say? You look like you turn your underwear inside out and then wear them again.
That's so nasty.
Chef
Y'all
said,
haven't done that, right?
Chef said, if I said I didn't do that, I'd be lying.
Y'all haven't done that, right? None of y'all have done that, right?
My favorite insult is, I hope you swallow hair.
Skyotic said, Psychotic said, maybe when I was single.
I hope you swallow hair.
Depends on the level of dirty. No, guys, turning it inside out isn't clean. That's so disgusting.
Hey, I'm not going to lie. If I wear my panties for like 2 hours, I'll wear them again the next day.
I need a warning when you do that before I go down on you.
I literally just told you that earlier because Lolly fucking took my panties I was planning on wearing the next day.
Do me a favor. If I try to go down on you when you do that, just tap me on the head so I know that you're nasty.
The dog, I had panties that I wore for 2 hours, and I was like, "Oh, they're not dirty," and then I'll just wear them tomorrow. And then our Stop acting like I didn't already tell you this.
Ew.
And then our puppy fucking took them off of the bed and was eating them, consuming them. And Joe found them on the floor in the kitchen or the living room.
What's going on with your nose? What are you doing?
There's a hair on my face and I'm trying to get it off. And Joe found them. It's still there.
I just watched her just.
I got it.
I felt like it was a fucking grab 'em game for a second.
I have sensory.
Felt like I was controlling a lever. It was just like trying to get the prize. Like Jesus.
The claw.
Exactly. Ew. Exactly.
No, I have sensory issues. So if there's
the
a
same
fucking
sense
hair...
of wearing them front back, it's out the front and back. Ew. It's nasty, Jimmy.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Ew.
All
Ew.
of y'all. All of y'all shut up. If you wear panties for 2 hours, you're like, oh yeah, I'll just wear them again tomorrow.
Let me rephrase real quick.
Please.
Even if you get a wife as hot as JD Vance, she wears her underwear weird like that, divorce her.
Oh my God, please. All y'all do the same fucking shit and
We
know
don't.
it.
We don't.
Oh, for 2 hours, if you wear panties for 2 hours.
First of all, I don't wear panties.
And you don't do it. Yeah, but I call them panties.
They're not panties.
If you don't do anything, you go to bed. We literally went to Best Buy to buy me a gaming computer. So it wasn't even 2 hours. And I was like, oh, I'll just wear these again. And then our puppy fucking found them and was, it was fucking disgusting. I saw her doing it. And then you picked them up and you were like, babe,
Ladies. The minute you put underwear on, they're dirty. Stop wearing them.
Shut the fuck up. We talked about this earlier and you were like, oh yeah, I do that.
I don't do that. I feel
oh my God.
Stop making shit up. Making shit up. That's all she's doing. She's acting like I agree.
Fuck up.
Like I love her very much, but I don't agree.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes, if it's cheese, it's crossing the line. I agree. Exactly, psychotic. My bad.
Cheese.
They got micro poops. Damn right. Women got micro poops.
Cheese.
Mm.
What? Like from under?
He's pointed out that women have micro poops.
No.
Yes, you do.
Skyotic.
No, psychotic.
You said right. Psychotic said if it's cheese,
Yeah,
it's crossing the line. What the fuck does that mean?
Why are you micro pooping?
What is micro poop?
All right, so here's the deal, guys. We can either go to bed or you can watch us play Phasmophobia.
It's only fucking 11.
Bitch,
30.
shut up.
I'm
talking to the fucking stream, not you. Smegma.
Yeah, that's Fremunda. That's dudes have that. Girls don't
Why
fucking have that.
You don't have no Fremunda cheese?
Girls don't fucking have that.
Mm-hmm. Play the game. All right, cool.
Girls don't have smegma. That's what you get when you're uncircumcised.
Mm-hmm. Whatever you say.
The look of betrayal with the Halloween comment. Sorry, you tell me to comment.
All right, so guys, hold on. Here's the deal. So if we're going to play Phasmophobia, we're going to have to do this on Streamlabs. We're currently on Restream, so we're going to have to set up a new stream for this. Jesus. Hold on.
Someone was like, I'm currently wearing socks with Crocs.
Socks with Crocs, you bitch.
You look like you wear socks with Crocs.
All right, so hold on. So here's what we're gonna do. So to do Phasmophobia, I'm gonna have to start a new stream. So you guys will have to come back. Now, how many of you gonna come back? Give me a thumbs up if you're gonna come back for us playing Phasmophobia. Not you, we're playing it. Jesus Christ. I'm asking people in the chat.
I just always do what you say, so well, not always.
Give me a thumbs up if you'll come back. I mean, we'll be back in 5 minutes.
People saying my second toe is longer than my first. I feel attacked.
Exactly. All right, cool. So here's what we're going to do. So we'll end this stream. We'll be back in 5 minutes to play Phasmophobia. All right, we'll be back. Me and her are going to play it. I'm going to scream like a bitch, but she's fun. All right, so we're going to end this, and then we'll be back in 5 minutes. Just give us 5 minutes. We'll be right back. All right.